I'd like to open this meeting, Littleton Conservation, at 7:30. And guess we'd start by, does anybody get any omissions or corrections to the minutes?
I don't.
No.
We should probably wait until Anna
Yeah.
gets here, right?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to do. We got 5 Scott Road. Do you have any information on that?
Looks like it's a just in case.
Hmm?
Looks like maybe it's a just in case.
Yeah. No?
No, I have nothing on Scott Road.
204.
I have Charter, Cricket, and Fort Pond.
Okay. I don't know, Balsam Lane, new owner, that must be one of the ones that comes in for Durkee.
Seems dirty.
Anybody here from Durkee or? must be-
Now, where's the Charter Way?
Okay. 97 Mill Road, informal discussion, why don't you come up, Brian, I guess.
Well, the last time I had a better looking plan, and that, since then, I thought Ross was gonna have time to make all my changes and have a better looking plan, but this is where we're basically at on this. The driveway coming in, this would be paved, this would be proposed office, this would be, proposed warehouse garage. The blue building would be removed. It's the only way that we can really create, because that's in the floodplain. We need the compensatory storage for the septic to make it Title V. You know, totally in
Compliant.
compliance. You know, because originally it was enough to do an upgrade for 20 employees, but we want to have it regular, you know, Title V. And then we weren't sure about using compensatory storage from the lot on 2A. That's the same floodplain, and that was originally what I wanted to come in to discuss, but I think now with the basically, here's all the calculations. So pretty much what we get is, it comes out to a difference of 124 cubic feet. So that's 4.6 yards. So because we'd be filling in here and some grading over here, so that the building pretty much takes care of most of that. So,
Kind of too bad, tear that down.
no, I know, we've been, that's a good, we'll use it during construction.
Yeah, well,
And then we did throw some, on that site walk, we did we walked around, and I had the engineer show boulders placed in the 25-foot. We didn't really finish the discussion about this. Somebody said we could use that to drive on. We could leave that open, but I was thinking we could, some of the sheds, just kind of place them around there. But then I had a couple of questions on construction as far as hay bales and silt fence. Because this is all disturbed, usually within 100 foot, but we got floodplain and riverfront. Is there any,
I don't know, it all seems like it's, I don't know, anybody that make waddles along here or something?
Yeah, usually the wattles are at the 50.
at the 50? What I was thinking, if we placed the boulders there, we just ran the wattles along that, this is, were you out there?
No, I was out
Okay,
of
this is
town.
all already disturbed.
Yeah, I'm
and-
familiar. I'm definitely familiar with the
yeah.
My husband used to take my boys down there a lot to go get
Oh,
wood, so we're
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
definitely familiar with
Yeah,
this site.
okay.
But I was not on this.
I mean, it's all gravel, so it's gonna pretty much,
Yeah.
would have to be a pretty heavy rainstorm, but it would, if they had the wattles along here along with the stones, it would probably, I would think, would take care of.
the only place, like even this last rain, the only place that water builds up is right here, and that's where they were told to dig that down. I don't know who told them to, but that's supposed to be the little sump spot before it goes into the
Settlement basin.
Ross is gonna be designing something,
Do you have a temporary basin here?
it's
Or
just
it's just
a
something
lower
that's-
spot.
Depression.
Okay.
that- Yeah.
Okay.
So it all silts up there and,
Mhm.
you know,
It settles.
I don't know if I would've done, I think I would've done it a different way, but it wasn't mine. That was before
Sure.
us.
Yeah.
We're also gonna try to do something at the entranceway here to divert the water to maybe run down here and then filter through, but we're still working on that. It's all work in progress, but we're trying to get little things worked out before the final plan. Have you seen this? This is Polly.
Yeah,
I think you were
I was around last time, yep,
Okay.
I have.
And then snow storage. I guess he was pushing in the brook and that's not what we want to do, but I just didn't know if there was any particulars of, you know, if we kept it, as long as we kept it outside the, say, the 25-foot buffer for snow.
Well, how much of it would you be clearing that's being there in the building as a rule? I mean, is there?
Well,
are you-
this part here would mostly be, this would be plowed in the winter, and then probably, you know, I don't know, you know, here I'm not sure, but, I mean, it is kind of nice to have that cleaned up.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering, once you had some sort of dry storage stuff you were gonna be putting there, bricks or,
Well, that's what we kind of wanted to put pallets, you know, like pavers and stuff like that, you know, and pipe, you know, stuff like that.
Do you have to do an industrial stormwater permit too for your operations?
There's gonna be,
Or not you, I guess,
the engineer's doing stormwater, you know, for the impervious.
no, not for the construction, I mean like the operation in general, there's an industrial general
Oh,
stormwater permit for
I'm
the
sure there'll be,
operations, and so that will control what they can keep
yeah,
outside.
I'm
and,
sure that'll be
you know,
in there.
Okay.
It was still,
it's just a thought as you're constructing it.
yeah, no, and this has been a tough piece because of the floodplain and the riverfront.
Tough site
Yeah,
for industrial operations.
the only good thing is it was already disturbed, and
Mhm.
otherwise I think
So there's a paving company, right? Paving company?
they do paving, but they also do excavation work, site work, and they don't bring paved asphalt to the property. And all the trucks, all the paving equipment is packed inside in the garage at night. You know, they go out in the day and then they park everything, all the paving stuff inside. So,
anybody else got any comments?
I mean, I think whatever you can do to keep the runoff as, you know, as clean as possible is pretty
Right.
much the task at hand, and then, you know, your erosion controls, you know, again, while the site's under construction, it sounds like there's gonna be quite a bit regarding the Title V, and then some compensatory storage.
Yep.
So it sounds like the site is gonna be, you know, under construction for
Yeah.
quite a while, so whatever, you know,
everything will be,
I'd almost suggest a couple lines.
everything will be outside of the 100-foot buffer anyway.
Mhm.
You know, I've just,
So your runoff is gonna
yeah,
head, that's,
oh yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yep.
So I would maybe consider more than one line of, you know, hay bales, wattles, filtration, in case one fails. Those are just some thoughts. I know it's a
Mhm.
challenging site. I know you don't have a lot of space, but whatever you're able to do,
Mhm.
I think to keep, you know, to keep the runoff, you know,
We
certainly
even
from
have-
silting up the brook.
we even have blocks and stuff that we can
Mm.
put along there.
Yeah. I mean, that's my
This site's been checked for contaminants, right?
I had 21E done.
Good. Once you get into something.
So it's clean. Nothing.
No.
No.
We got rid of, see, there was an oil tank that was removed. We pulled up tires and,
You get rid of the sawdust bin, shavings bin,
the
the ones that are up on huge,
big-
5,000, 10,000 gallon tanks.
they're still up there. We don't know what we're gonna do with them. Why, you need them?
Nope.
Yeah, these are.
I mean, they used to, for the sawmill, they put oil, you put oil on the blades, right, as they're cutting?
You mean for
Yeah,
the-
you would need a hydraulic.
Yeah.
Cutting oil, hydraulics.
Yeah.
What about building materials? Any like lead paint that you need to deal with, or asbestos that could get mobilized?
Most of that's.
I mean, I would imagine it's a lot of
than-
wood
it's-
and-
Well, it's newer than, when did they
78?
do that? About 1960, they started making issues out of the lead.
78.
Hmm?
78. They phased out lead paint, and asbestos was like mid 80s.
Well, when we do, we have to have an asbestos survey done beforehand anyway,
Okay.
you know. But that's about it. So, well, we'll get some more information. Hopefully we can get this thing wrapped up.
Yeah.
Anybody have any problem with the 25 feet
No, that's good.
with the blocks, stones, just so that they know? And there's some sort of wattles or something on the inside, I would think, would be,
Yeah, you need some filtration.
yeah,
Mm.
okay.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a good night.
You too.
we haven't seen Anna, I don't even know if she's coming in or not.
Uh-oh.
Oh, she was planning to.
Well, other updates, you got any other? Kind of a summary sheet here. something.
Oh, I didn't see anything from Anna, but I see this from Brian about K.
Yeah.
You requested a continuance for the K portion of our,
Was the K portion the 8:15?
the 8:15, yeah.
So we got half an hour?
That's not happening.
Oh, 45 minutes.
15 minutes, no, 15 minutes.
Okay, well, if nobody's got any omissions or corrections to the minutes, do you want to approve them?
Sure. So I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from July 9th, 2018 as printed.
I'll second that.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, 7:45, meeting request for determination of applicability, 7 Charter Way.
Come on down.
Hi.
Well, tell us what you want to do, or?
We have a dead pine tree down by the water on Fort Pond and 7 Charter Way. It's hollow in the center of it, and we would like to get rid of it. And up to it, there's some other trees also down by the water that are a possibility. It's a matter of money but one of them is definitely dead. It's dangerous.
Do you have any photos or anything?
Yeah, my purse over here. I know Amy had some too, but
Yeah, Amy went down to take pictures, but we didn't get copies of those ones.
Problem is she's not here.
Yeah.
yeah, she didn't tell me she wasn't going to be here. Okay, let's see.
So how many trees in total do you think you'd be looking to?
4 at the most, down close to the water. There's another one that's up by the cottage itself that for insurance reasons we need to have taken out too. Can you find it quicker than me? Oh, here, use my phone.
I can find it for you, yes.
She's much more tech savvy than I am. So I sent the letters to the abutters and got all the replies back that they got the letter and
Wonderful. Oh, do you have the green cards?
yeah, I
ready?
have the green card. The green cards.
The green cards.
Yeah.
We just have to save those for the record.
Oh, not that one.
Here's a picture of the dead tree.
Was it,
Yeah,
Is he
like right
stuck
on
to
the
you?
lake.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's less than 10 feet from the water. Or about 10 feet from the water, I'd say.
Well, it depends. The water is closer
On a
and
level.
closer than
Right.
it
Yeah.
used to be too. We used to have like a little beach, sandy
Oh,
place
okay.
there. When
Yeah.
it's not there anymore.
Big tree, huh?
With
Yeah.
the water levels gone up?
Over
Oh,
the
yeah.
years, yeah.
There's beavers on the
Oh, gotcha.
other side over by Central Street towards West Acton on that side. At least that's what we've been told.
and the other tree next to the cottage is the one that's got 2 liters coming out of it?
Yeah.
So do you plan on hiring
there,
like a
yep,
professional
okay.
crew to go down?
Yes.
Yeah, we have that.
We've had 2 different companies come in with their estimates.
That's not cheap.
No.
No, it's very expensive.
Now, who are you going with?
Well, it's either going to be New England Tree Master or Flag from Air.
I've used the Tree Master Company.
Pardon?
I've used the tree, and then
Oh, you have?
they come in, they clean it up, and they take everything. But I've seen Flag around too, so either one is.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing New England Tree Master will, while they're there, they will grind up the stump. Whereas Flag, you have to get somebody else to come in to do any grinding.
I would say that's a benefit.
Yeah. I mean, it
They
costs,
usually
but I
like-
mean, it's, you know,
Right, right.
I mean,
But we
it's
usually
cheaper
like
if you
stumps
do
to
it
be
once.
left.
Yes, I think that was part of what Amy said she recommended.
Usually,
Yeah, we
the
wouldn't
stump
go
to be
all the
left.
way to the roots just to get it. I have 2 granddaughters, and I don't want them tripping over the stump either.
Well, so I guess, anybody got any objections to them taking the
No.
trees out?
No.
Or
Thank
what-
you.
okay. And the other 2 are just for, because there's
There
the
were 2
one-
more that Amy identified saying
Okay.
that she said that they're okay to go, but
Okay.
the tree removal people say they don't look dangerous, so.
Okay.
Well, this is the time why you have them there if that's what you want to do, right? It's just,
Right.
Well,
So
but
it's
yeah.
more the approve, or it's approval for up to 4 trees, but the one is a
Got it.
definite.
Okay, yeah, that was.
That's
my-
what we came
that
here
was my
originally
question.
for, was
Just
the
the
rotten one. But
Yeah.
talking with Amy and her, looking at them, said, you know, you got some others there, which we know. But like I said, it's expense too, as
And the most expensive part is getting the equipment there, believe it or
yes.
not.
Yes.
well, they can't get anything, a crane down by the water.
Yeah.
So somebody would have to climb it up and do it section by section, which of course costs more than
Right.
you just buzz it down, I guess.
Right.
I'm learning a lot about cutting down trees.
Yeah.
More than I ever wanted to.
So they're not bringing a crane in.
They might do a crane for the ones that are closest to the cottage
Gotcha.
that the insurance company
Oh.
wants me to get rid of those in order to
I
keep
see.
up with the insurance,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is what
sure.
started this whole thing,
Yeah.
the ball rolling.
So, Somebody want to make a motion to approve this?
So I'll make a motion that we issue a -3 determination for 7 Charter Way for the tree removal
For how many trees?
for 4 trees.
Thank you.
As
You sure
stated by
that
the
that's all
applicant.
you need to take? Because you were talking about just so that,
That would be by the water, yes, definitely. We wouldn't probably do more,
The other ones would be
because we
More
have
than
to
100
pay
feet
more
for
than
from the
100
water,
feet.
yeah.
Yeah.
okay, do you have something we can sign?
I think we need a second.
I do have one question though. Since you approved it, is there a time limit to have it all
So
done
the
by? I mean, we were thinking we might do some this fall and then if we can afford it, do some more in the spring, if it works out that way.
Any problem with that?
Okay, I just wanted to double check and make sure that this wasn't like a
'Cause we're not
30-day.
Oh no, it's not like a 30-day.
It's just a negative
No,
determination.
it's, yeah. it's
We're
not
just
an order of
saying
conditions
that it's
or
not
anything.
applicable to the state and local bylaws for the Wetlands Protection Act. That's all that we did tonight.
Oh,
Okay.
Or
My pen just
it
failed.
is, but it's not like
Check the
detrimental
boxes
to
that need
it.
to be
That's what a
checked. He
-3
knows what's on there.
determination.
oh, okay.
Can I borrow your pen?
Oh sure, this
I'll
one's
second
kind
the
of
motion.
horrible, but
Okay. All in favor?
I.
I can't use your pen either.
Oh
It's
no,
just
it's
like a
mine.
fancy. Mine just look. It just exploded.
Oh no.
Here I go.
Thank you.
Oh, do you-
It's gonna be. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, can I
Oh
borrow
yeah,
that
you
too?
need Jim's
I
pen
need one
too.
too.
Oh
yeah.
man, I'm down some pens. Yeah.
Pam's going on vacation too, when you did?
I something. I removed about 50 of them from my van the other day, cleaning it out.
Okay, so.
So we're all set?
You're all set.
Well, thank you.
That,
And have a good night.
You
yeah,
too.
but
Thanks.
wait a minute,
And
there's
hope
an
you're
appeal
not-
period on this, isn't there?
Oh, actually, I don't think there is for a determination of this kind. If it was like an NOI, there's a 10, but I'd hold off for 10 days just in case.
Yeah, probably won't be done until September anyways.
Oh yeah, don't
Yeah.
even worry about that.
Okay, well, thank you.
Have a great
Well,
night.
Good night.
Bye, thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.
Thanks.
Public meeting request for determination of applicability, 20 Cricket Lane.
Oh, we've still got 7 minutes.
Okay. That cost me $500 a tree.
Oh, I don't. That's cheap.
Well, they came in, they took out, probably 10 trees, swinging them right over the old cottage. Took 'em- They had a crane set up in there and did a nice job, and they cleaned it all
The
right.
crane makes a big difference.
Oh, yeah. Better way, it's a better way of dealing with it. Other than I wouldn't
If
It
you
want
get
it.
the
it
equipment
just
in there.
costs more because the crane, renting the crane
Well, they have
with the
their,
operator.
they have
don't
their
own
own
them.
crane.
They do own it?
Yeah,
Some of them do, some
that
don't.
Tree Masters does.
Yeah, some do, some don't.
I imagine if they own the crane, they can probably do it for a lot cheaper price. And
It's safer too.
Other than you watch the guy
You can.
sticks his foot in a
You
loop
want to?
and rides up on
Yes.
the crane.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the acrobatics. Those tree guys.
Oh.
Oh, well. Anybody got anything else they
Yeah,
want?
the insurance company, I think, would have a problem with that. That guy
Yeah.
riding up on the crane.
Well, is that safer to go up and come down than to try and climb up a tree? You don't know whether it's dead or alive? I don't know. I have noticed that the parking lot up on Howard Road has been getting more use.
Oh, that's great.
I've actually seen it full on occasions.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Where is it up on Harvard Road? Because you see there's the one entrance just before you get to Bruce Street. You can go in. Is it further up on
Oh,
Harvard?
wait, it's almost up to the town line.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's good to hear that it's getting good use. That's,
Well, yeah, make it worthwhile having our scout do the kiosk.
yeah.
Did the scout who's gonna?
Oh no, yeah, I don't think he's even started yet.
Afraid he's gonna get a rude awakening on the cost of lumber. That's jumped considerably.
Well, I think Peter said he was going to donate some lumber.
That's what I said.
Why did lumber go up? Just demand from all the building lately?
I guess, but I think it's got something to do with tariffs and all,
Oh,
going back and forth to Canada and
oh, got it. Yep.
don't know exactly what, but it's
Hmm.
somebody, talking to somebody, and they were booked, they were carpenters booked through December, and they got notified that the framing material was gonna go up 100%.
Wow.
100%. What?
And that just,
Yikes. Yeah, they can, yeah.
but there's so much
Kill your
construction, you
project.
stop and look around and see
Oh.
how much construction,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's-
there's a ton.
they can control it, I mean, people are, there's no shortage of buyers,
There's not.
Shortage of-
you know. I noticed they've been going by very fine, they do that pretty regularly, and they're putting the second, well, they call it a second story on top of the 3-story building. The,
Oh, they are.
yeah,
Oh,
up on
really?
top of the precast building.
Oh, interesting.
So are they in there operating
No,
already?
no, they're just
Just using the wastewater treatment system.
getting it ready, whatever
why?
they,
The what?
They were using the wastewater treatment system without any operations. That apparently was the big hurry to get.
Oh. Oh.
It did
I
smell
can't
for
wait
quite a
till they're
while.
busy.
but
Hmm?
that
I
was-
can't wait till
that
it's
was rough.
operational.
It was-
Well, we just got a grant, or MBTA just got a grant to improve the sidings
Right.
by Very Fine and by Middlesex, so
Oh.
that it's supposed to eliminate like 12,800 truckloads like a week or something from 110, which
Did Very Fine, they never used the tracks, did they? Did they have a siding when they brought stuff in?
there is one. I think it's
they
just not
had,
in good shape.
I can
It's,
remember
like,
them
really
doing
old or
it, but a
something.
long time,
Well, I was gonna say a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah.
It sounds like the write-up for the grant said it was improvements of an existing siding
Oh.
and expansion.
That
so-
makes sense.
Yeah.
I think the one down
That'd be
at,
good.
for Middlesex, when they took the second track out years ago, that siding went.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
And then
know.
they have since put the second track back in, so that would be,
Well, they were doing that for the cement plant.
yeah, but I'm saying that there was only one set of
Yeah,
tracks
there
for a
was-
long
right.
time,
Right.
and then they put the second one in.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Put
know
that back in after
Okay.
many years,
Yeah.
Yeah,
not having it.
reading, right.
but that would have been on that side for Middlesex. But
Do we know if the applicant's coming in for 20 Cricket Lane?
I
Is-
haven't seen anything.
is that the one?
I have no idea who's coming or what.
20 crickets on Speck Pond.
Rachel, did you go out to Cricket Lane with us?
Yes, right?
Is that the same, is that the same as 20, is that the same?
It's next door, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was 22 was the septic.
Yeah, I thought the other, that one was 20, I thought it was 29 off the top of my head, but
Hmm.
Okay.
something.
Yeah, I think it's. I thought-
This is something different?
Deck construction, so yeah.
Here it says a deck reconstruction.
Like the house you just looked at next door.
Does the applicant need to be here for us to?
I don't think so.
I have seen the site, deck does need replacing, very steep slope. Like the house, you must look at next door, it appears that new footings will be on the flat part already under the deck. I don't see this as an issue. That's what her,
Yeah, I mean, I think if the size isn't changing, you know, if they're just reconstructing what they already have and they're not doing, you know, they're replacing footings versus expanding down to the lake. But do we know that?
yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so I think that's a
Maybe we
hold
should
up.
wait.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if it's while we're here, which makes, you know, from a logistical standpoint, it makes sense, like while you're here to do whatever else, but
Looks like
we
the
need to
only,
know that.
Right, right.
looks like
Make
the
sure it's
only
not-
thing that's gonna get disturbed is putting new footings in. Which would probably be new footings is what
Yeah.
they're
Do we
talking
have a
about.
plan?
It says it's already under the
See?
deck, the footing.
appears
gonna
that
take out the
new
old
footings
flames and
will
just put
be
new
on the
ones in?
flat part, so they're gonna either disturb
Already.
something, or I would think the building inspector would want something 4 feet down, some sonotubes
Well,
or something.
they didn't show up, so they don't care, so we don't care.
I-
I mean, what else are we gonna do?
If we know
Can't
that they're
predict
not,
what they're gonna do.
that's, if we have a plan, is there anything at all in the file? So maybe there.
Yep.
So should we open the hearing?
This,
Yeah, I'd like to open the hearing for 20 Cricket Lane.
Oh, okay. So it's just the
There's
RDA
3 copies.
session. Okay. Oh, but there's, got it, okay. So here, I'll pass these out so you can look at these. So like there's, so there's 2 copies. Okay, so here's the W15. Alright, existing 3-bedroom dwelling. Is there
Deck.
work?
it must be this one.
Oh, there's the deck.
This is the one that we've already seen. No.
It's a deck all the way.
Yeah.
The
So
one
that's what they're
that's
talking
Existing,
about. replacing.
existing
Sorry.
3-bedroom dwelling with deck,
So-
is that it?
Yep.
Rebuilding routing supports, no additional impact. Okay. But it's on, I mean, it's on a slope. I feel like, I don't know how we get comments to them about adequate erosion controls, or, I mean, if it's,
Other notation here from Amy is that it's
she
on the
doesn't see
flat.
issues.
It's
On
not.
the flat. Oh, okay, that's right. You're right. Okay. Certified list of abutters. Do we know that the abutters have received?
Deck.
That's the other.
That's the other thing.
That's the other thing. We don't know that the abutters have received information.
Yeah, I think we should wait until
I
the
think we need.
applicant.
Yeah.
That's a big house.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like
Straightforward.
pretty
but
straightforward, but if we don't have the opportunity to talk about
There's a
minimizing impacts and we don't know that the abutters have received,
furnace. Yeah, let's show where the existing
We'd-
building is, so it shows the existing.
yeah, okay.
Existing steps.
Existing steps.
footings, so they're
Sure.
gonna be going down 4 feet.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't say what- it doesn't
So then
show
they're
the
gonna have
existing.
heavy equipment to go
Doesn't
down.
show the existing.
Well, suppose you could hand 4 feet. But we don't,
So
I mean,
the
we don't
deck's
know
an
that.
elevated, it's an elevated deck,
Yeah.
not just a deck walking
Oh, yeah.
off.
Here you go.
Yep.
Right.
So there's what, 8?
It looks like is this
1, 2, 3,
already
4, 5,
meant,
6, 7.
like patio kind of thing underneath? Or is that grass?
I have no idea.
It seems as though they should be interested enough to come to the meeting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe something happened. Who knows? But I think without knowing that the abutters have received it and have a chance to, I mean, that's one of the things we are obligated to have.
Big deck.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have Amy reach out and maybe have them come to the next meeting.
I think that's the.
Or you give them a call. Do you want me to give them a call? I
When is Amy back? Do we know?
think she's July 30th.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
pretty soon. She said about
Alright.
2 weeks
Yeah.
she was going to I think it was Alaska.
Yeah.
It's not our job.
Hmm.
The applicant's not here. It's nothing else we can do.
And we don't know
Can't
if the
predict.
abutters have received, which isn't.
Nope.
No show.
We are at 8:15.
Oh, man.
So I don't have anything till when?
8:30.
Oh, wow. Oh my
8:30?
gosh, that's right.
So, you know, what happens in a situation like this where it's not our fault, we publish the agenda, applicant
Public hearings.
decides
Oh.
that
Now,
they're not
what's
coming?
crossing my mind,
It doesn't
seems
seem,
Other meetings though.
it doesn't seem right. We should have the
You
ability
have
to change the agenda. Up, we've sit here for
Public
half
hearings
an
we
hour.
yeah, but that's why in the past I've had them book it, even though we don't get
We
to hear
used to do, like,
things,
10 minutes.
which is not exactly correct, but we can move along. Now we have to wait. This is where we'd fill it in with the regulation talk.
Yeah.
Well, and there's, well, other updates.
Yeah. You got
Uh,
any other updates?
No?
Oh, I did go out and meet with Brian Goudreau over at the Cape property last week. But since nobody else was there, we went.
You guys here for the deck?
Yes.
All right.
Great.
Okay. So since nobody was there other than us, we did a quick walk around to do checks for the certificates of compliance for those 4 or 5 houses.
Yeah.
There weren't really too many issues
Yeah,
other
come
than.
Might as well come right up.
We'd already put your file away.
Oh, we're reopening the hearing. Okay.
I'm glad you showed, because otherwise we're going to sit here and think about things we could talk about for half an hour.
I'm so sorry.
Well, we also have a
Do we have
hearing
to
after
fold
Do you
it?
yours
want the folder back?
is not
Yeah.
happening, so that's. Do you have your green cards, the butter notifications?
Return receipts.
We were trying to figure out how we could make a decision.
I'm not sure if there was one more from across the street or if it didn't
Okay.
come back.
Okay.
Sometimes they don't come
Yeah,
back.
sometimes, but
I
this,
just
I
saw
mean,
her today. So.
it's a substantial amount. So.
All right, so is the pilings for the deck in the same location as the current?
So what happened right now? It's I don't know if I'm not technical at this. It's like cantilevered
Oh,
off
cantilevered.
Oh, I see.
and
Okay.
it's all tried to take pictures.
So you want to put them straight down?
And it's all like rotting, so they told me it's very dangerous. And yeah, so they said there's not everybody that looked at it said pretty much the
Yeah, decks
best.
have a
Like here's how.
Shelf life.
So is the deck sitting? Is the deck going to be rebuilt?
Yeah, they're gonna redo it just the same way it is.
Same exact way?
Yeah.
Except with footings, not cantilever.
Yeah, with
right?
the footings instead. Yeah. Do you wanna?
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
we passed it.
Sorry, you can see whatever. Sorry, they're not the best pictures.
No, it gives a
I
good.
tried.
Yeah, no, it's better than.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's not you. It's just regular printer paper. You did a beautiful
These
job.
these photos
No,
are just
the
fine. Thank
photos
you.
are fine, Jen. It's just when you print
That's
it on
funny.
regular paper, I love you.
Oh, they're good pictures.
I've never seen a better picture in my life.
Yeah, these are great.
Great photography, though.
These actually are really
We'll try and
helpful.
save
This is what we
you.
were trying to do before you got here.
There's already a footing, stone wall, stuff, retaining wall.
Yeah.
Do
So-
you mind if we save these for the public record, by the way?
Oh, that's
Just
fine.
since we saw them, the public has to.
Uh-huh. Oh, no, that's fine.
So do they need to do anything regarding the retaining wall that's next to the deck?
You,
Like the stone wall?
I don't think so. He didn't say anything about
Okay.
it. I'm not sure if it was in, you know what,
It's all soil above that retaining wall too, so it's,
Yeah. No,
It's
I mean
not-
it would be. It's just the
yeah.
I don't know how
you wouldn't
close the
have to-
footings are going, but
I'm not sure if it said anything in the.
I'm sure your engineer saw the wall when they were out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, no,
so-
they
well, I'm just wondering how
They-
far back is
Yeah.
the footings from the wall, that's all.
Yeah, that's my question too. Does it
I would
have
give it about,
Yeah, I was wondering.
what do you think, 6 feet?
I don't know,
long?
is this you better, is this his picture?
I wonder if it
Well,
says-
yeah, but that's not.
It
that
doesn't
wasn't
really
measured
tell you,
like
it just
that.
says footing tight.
And you're gonna have somebody digging?
That was pretty much.
How will they be?
No, they're going to be the type of footing is
4 feet down?
yeah, but it's a helical. It's the helical post piles is what they use. They almost get like drilled into the ground.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Bobcat drill rig.
and then they can like manually adjust them to whatever height you want.
Okay.
Yes, those- they're cross
Sorry, I'm not very good at the technical part of it.
No, but at least you showed up, and that's what we were waiting for.
So what was the question you're asking?
Well, I was just wondering how they were gonna get the footing, how they were gonna do them. She said they're gonna drill them in, they're probably not gonna, there's not gonna be any,
It's minimal ground disturbance.
Excavation.
They used them on boardwalks and wetland areas because of the minimal, their impact is minimal.
So runoff wise, the size of the deck, is it changing? Like, is it the same deck but just rebuilt?
I think it's 2 feet longer only because they come in 8-foot things, so it just seemed easier to just.
So wider, 2 feet wider?
Yeah, it's 6
Off
foot,
the house.
6 feet right now, so it's just gonna be 2 feet more. Because he said it was just, otherwise they gotta cut the whole thing and, and it's kind of squishy now.
anybody got any more comments about this?
No, seems fine.
How far away is the deck? What is this, Cricket Lane? What body of water is that on?
Spec
Expert
pond?
pond.
That pond, how far away from
This
the
picture
pond
shows
is
it.
it?
Here. This, it's showed in that one, there's the pond.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's back.
I mean, there's
You
a
got a stone
house.
wall.
Yeah, I mean,
trees.
and I know there's a house like really close down here.
Yeah.
I mean, close to the water, not close to me.
It's all right in place, it's,
And I think
I don't think
having to
it's a-
do the
that
extra
stone wall-
cutting is probably gonna add a lot of cost, I would imagine. to
Yeah.
the
And I'm actually one of the
construction.
further up from the water. The other two houses next to me are
Yeah.
much closer
And having
down.
you get
so.
that stone wall already
Mm.
there in front, so,
Yeah, no, that's true.
okay,
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Somebody wanna make a motion to approve?
make a, making a negative determination?
-3.
-3. Make a motion to make a -3 determination for applicability at 20 Cricket Lane for deck reconstruction.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Where's the,
Oh, I can't sign this.
Oh.
Jim, do you need this?
yeah,
Yeah, is that the
thank
signature?
you.
You're welcome. Oh, yeah, this is, that's
I
just
got
the
the one you
application.
need to sign.
approve.
yeah.
Got it.
Thank you. Sorry. I'm new
sign.
at this.
Yeah.
That's it.
You can go and do what you want, have it done.
And there's no
There's
appeal.
a appeal, I think, was it a 10-day appeal or something?
I don't think there's any appeal period for determinations of applicability, but I would hold off 10 days just in case.
Probably won't get to it this time of year. I'm guessing you probably won't anyway, so.
That's busy. Just discussing lumber prices and busy contractors. You can, if you make them cut stuff, it adds.
Yeah, that's what he said at
Jacks
first.
up
First
the
he
price.
said, and then he said, oh, materials would be less. And I said, wait, you said cutting. He said, yeah, you're right. Let's just, the 8 feet's better. So,
Yeah. Well, you gain 2 feet.
That's a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah,
6.
No, it is
There,
for,
2 feet,
that's
2
nice.
feet's a lot, you'll notice a huge
Yeah.
difference, that's for
it's
sure.
really shallow now, so.
And it's the same like wood plank too, so rain
Yeah.
will drain under it and whatnot, so we're not
Everything else is.
adding improvements. I think.
Will you
Okay.
pass me the folder too, please?
Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
I'm glad you came in.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm sorry for the delay.
Oh, no
No,
problem.
that's okay. It,
We had already written you off as a no-show.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Not that that would have been any negative, but.
Thank you
Very
very
good.
much.
Have a good night.
Okay. But we still got 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh, so
Andrew was
yeah,
telling us.
I was telling you a tale of the
I
site
can
walk.
brief on ours too, after Andrew's done.
So Brian and I just went around to the 4 or 5 houses that are up for certificates of compliance. There weren't too many issues. There was a bit of dumping on one of them that I got a picture of that I'll send to Amy. The one just as you're like pulling into that main road off of Foster Street. Yeah, my streets are a little off tonight. They just had to take the erosion controls out, and I think other than the dumping and that there really wasn't much keeping the houses from
Yard waste dumping or
yard
dumping,
waste dumping.
Okay.
So, but he said that they're going to look into all that for the next meeting, and
Okay.
so.
It's amazing how fast they're selling over.
Oh yeah.
Selling the houses.
Yeah,
Where?
Turkey. It seems to be a big deal that they're right next to the railroad station. People can walk to it, and it seems to be techie type people or,
Oh,
Yeah.
the railroad.
Yep. Heading,
or
yeah.
go,
Taking
or
that, if you
people who
take,
got
if you
kids
get
in
the right,
college.
if you get the right train, you can be into Boston. There's one that's
Oh.
like has few
Yeah,
stops.
Express.
Express, you can be in 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
So yes, that's what I take, and it's
There's no way you can drive that fast.
Nope.
It's just so friggin' expensive.
no. The only problem with the commuter rail though is that you're beholden to somebody else's schedule. So it's like
Yeah.
if you need to leave.
Oh, that
during
and
the middle of the day.
it's expensive unless your company's paying.
Yeah, and a lot of companies are
It can be
putting
Well, it's a
half of
ta- well, it was a tax
It
write
can be
off.
like
Who knows if
24.
it'll
It
be a
is
tax
still,
write off
it is
anymore.
still.
My
Well,
son,
whereas
my
the next
son's
year,
done. It's 24
you
hours
don't
a day.
itemize.
Most
24 a
companies
day?
like so mine.
24 a day.
What?
Yeah.
But there's never any parking unless
It's
you're going
$3.36 a
really
month.
early.
Yeah, but what does it cost you to park in Boston? I mean, that's
Yeah.
not cheap
It
either.
depends on where you're parking.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's an hour and a half drive during rush hour.
It's still expensive though, you know.
It's
Oh,
$70 to park there at the train station too.
Do
You can't start your hearing
have
until
police
8:30.
Who checks the parking at the train
I'll
station?
take my
The
engineer's radio.
MBTA police, and they are just
Are they-
the
do they
parking
ever-
situation there. I mean, it's
do they ever come
standing
and check
getting better.
anything?
Oh
Yeah, they
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. And if
Every
you're
day?
not parked in,
Very often. I think I parked
Oh, they're
there
there
one
every
time and
day.
didn't get a thing, but when I had to go to Boston back in November, I was there 3 days and I got a letter in the mail for $20-something for parking there for the 3 days. But
it should be $4.50 if you didn't pay.
wow.
$4.50 a day.
Well, I don't know.
If you're not like
Yeah.
in a specific spot though, then they'll like some
Yeah.
days they
When they
decide
started
to like
cracking
take it for
down, they
like.
announced that they were going to start cracking down too. So
But
Oh.
there's nowhere to park. Like
no, there isn't.
Is there free parking
But
up
they're
in the
working on it.
further one? There's two
No.
layers. It's all paid, you have to pay?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's based on your license plate number. So it's like, so as long as you're kind of in there, they have this whole thing about like you have to be within a spot. And it's like, but you've already paid. You're paying by your license plate number. Why does it matter if there's white paint on the tar or not?
Well, I suppose, is it reserved parking?
No. There are some like handicap spots, and there are some that are reserved for energy efficient or like electric cars.
Mm.
But that's about it. There's no other.
Bike.
Like
Sorry.
you can't pay for a spot.
I thought I'd heard they were expanding.
They are because
Parking.
it's just the parking is.
They're
just
expanding in
too
Littleton?
much. Yeah,
Yeah.
Are they buying now the piece of property
I think they already
Shaw
own it.
owns a property and is doing a development down there.
above the train
I
station?
think so.
Or is it, I thought there was some
Parking
talk about
and-
Durkee's there, someplace along there. There was
And,
some
like,
talk about it too
reconfiguring
there.
Grimes Lane, and there are like I know there are several ideas kind of kicking around, but Shaw I think was just at the planning board for.
So you bought the piece of land that was.
I don't know if it's that one. It's something in the direct vicinity, like close enough to help with parking.
Yeah, it's the Nordstrom property
It
there.
Okay.
is a Nordstrom property?
Okay,
Yeah,
there you
it's got a
go.
pretty
So you
good
know more than I do.
project lined out for that property.
Exactly.
100 spaces
It's like
to the
commercial,
T,
right? Commercial and then
100
parking,
spaces to the
right?
T, commercial on it in
Yeah.
the front, commercial on the bottom,
Yeah.
condos out back. Pretty, I mean, it's a good
Oh,
spot
yeah.
in the town for it.
There's gonna be like
Now,
a
as a
cafe
builder,
and
I'd
stuff
say
there,
it's a
right?
pretty good spot
Yeah,
in the
some,
town.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some, like,
A little far away
commercial
from the
stuff.
center of town, but it's along the tracks, which is
So,
what
yep.
eventually everything out is gonna be built right along the tracks.
Yeah.
For the same reason of being able to commute in the morning
Mhm.
for $12, instead of just sitting an hour and a half traffic.
Yeah. No, it is great. I mean, it would be nicer that they had more frequent trains. That like
Definitely,
getting as well as like if more people are coming in because of the trains.
yeah.
I mean, like
I
this
think
morning
more
my
peo-
train was 30 minutes late because it had mechanical. I mean, the trains are old. Like they need to
Yeah.
do something about that. That's a
Yeah.
big problem. In the winter, if it gets too cold, they don't run.
Right.
In the summer, if it rains, it gets too hot, they don't run. It's the
My
MBTA
daughter
needs
goes
to
to
fix
Full
their
Boston
problems
Yeah.
too.
Wow.
Once
Yeah.
you found that express train,
Yeah.
so much better.
Yeah.
40-something minutes just
Yeah.
in town.
Yeah.
You know,
So, yeah, that's the one that makes a difference.
makes a big difference.
But more people seem to be using that train station.
Hmm. Which is great.
Yeah.
They're out
To
of
also
parking
fix
down
problems
there.
with it.
Forget about parking down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get there by like 6:30, forget it.
Yeah, so
People
if
must
someone
be-
just, like when I was going into Mass General, I could never get a parking place there, it was all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's before they expanded.
No,
Oh, really?
this is about a
Yeah.
Yeah,
year
it's
ago,
even
I
still.
still
Year
go in
ago.
every
Oh.
day, and I could never park there.
Well, they need more parking spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 100 going in Shaw's plan, definitely. At least put
It's almost
100.
double.
So that's a hilly site, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's gonna do that.
I think the commercials will stay on the
Terraces.
road, terrace down, sewer treatment plant maybe in the middle, I think. I don't know all the details, but
I don't know.
it seems like a pretty good plan.
Yeah, and air
That's
is,
some-
they've torn down the
He's got some
buildings up there, and I think they're gonna put in more parking up there.
Where?
Up
Air,
there.
needs,
One of-
air needs.
One of the issues that this Shaw, the Nordblom site has, I know it has, is there's seepage.
Oh, springs and stuff.
There's
That's-
seepage through that slope.
That's Durkee and K too.
Yeah, but this is big time
Is it?
seepage. That makes its way down that slope and then hits the wetland at the bottom at the tracks.
And tries to go under, there used to be some pretty big culverts under the tracks, but I think they've been filled in over time.
So that's not saying it's an issue, but it's something that's gonna have to be looked at, because
They're gonna have to cross it.
If seepage is supporting a wetland, it's contributing to a wetland.
But they're gonna have to cross it to get out back further.
That's actually a part of why they opted to not come in for the 8:15 when Anna and I were out. We were reviewing phase 2, and the center of the cul-de-sac appears like it appears like there was a mapped resource area going right through it with bed and banks, and Anna and I, and so Brian couldn't make it, and so one of his other engineers was out, and so we were looking at the map, and we're like, this is the center of the cul-de-sac right here, what, this
And
looks
what
like,
was it?
like, the stream, intermittent stream, possibly, we're not sure, and so, we just asked them to get with Amy for the ORAD to clarify, because it's like resource area to both Anna and I pretty clearly.
Huh?
So, and I also saw 1 billion tadpoles at the outlet of the infiltration basin too, like right before Grimes. So it's actually clogged, so water's not getting through, but there are 1 billion tadpoles in there. So hopefully they don't do anything with it
Wow.
for the tadpoles. I mean, it was like almost solid tadpoles. in there.
Really?
Yeah. It was a ridiculous amount of tadpoles. It was
See,
really
it doesn't
cool.
surprise me.
Yeah.
Kinda have a
I mean, they
look.
got that wetland right there.
Yeah. And the Grimes stream was a teeny tiny trickle, and it looks like that just downstream of the road where it crosses under is like massively silted in. It's like almost full.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Runoff from the site.
Yep, which we've known about. We've brought it up multiple times. Sarah and I both at meetings. But he
We
wants
should-
to look at that resource
We should
area, so-
think about, maybe mention to Amy about that Nord Bloom and just get get a handle on seepage slopes and see
Yeah.
what the regs are on seepage slopes.
Must be, it's been a wetland. They've talked about it for years, going out back where the barns and stuff were.
There are definitely wetlands out there.
You're right, doesn't matter what goes there or there.
So I was actually just looking up for
I
jurisdiction.
think when
for
we went
stuff.
on that site had proposed development one time. We went out and looked at it.
As Mark Donahue used to say, that put his kids through college with for the paychecks he was getting for engineering it and coming in.
Northbourne?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if those seats are contributing to a wetland, then
Sorry, what'd you
it
say?
would, if they're contributing to a wetland, there's lowering the water table, changing drainage characteristics, changing flow patterns, like those would all apply to make those are within our purview.
Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, so if you divert them and then you know.
We're
Right.
caught,
That's not-
because we have to wait for your 8:30 appointment.
Yeah, that's not a problem, yeah, we can do that. Totally
And,
fair in case somebody else wants to show up.
you know, if you dry the wetland out, what's that impact?
Right. Yeah. Did you see the phase 2 area? Did you guys walk into the woods or you went and did the other stuff?
No,
Okay.
I basically said we're gonna have
It's
to do it
just
again
me,
anyway,
yeah.
so.
Okay, because they're part of the delay is there's a question about what looks like it's mapped as a resource area in the cul-de-sac. Anna and I were both, it looks like a bed and banks here.
Oh.
We've seen, less be, but I think the ORAD might have been done during the drought, so I don't know. So we just said you guys need to get with Amy, and we really aren't gonna be able to point you in any directions.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
they
actually,
opted to.
up until the last couple of weeks, we were in it. They were considering it a drought. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw that. Yeah, I've been really happy we're getting rain this past week.
Yeah.
Although the heavy rain, I'm sure, wasn't very helpful for you.
It's all right. Con likes it, making ears.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But we're
Oh, it's
kind of come
depressing
to
when
a
it's too dry.
screeching halt as far as making hay.
Oh really?
Well, it's been raining
Um,
intermittently all for the last 2
yeah.
days, 3 days.
No, that's true.
And it looks like it's going to be that way right through the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, this week looks wet. I just
Definitely,
get
the corn looks good though. The
moldy
corn's
hay.
tall.
Yeah.
Looks good.
It's well up over the top of the tractor cab.
I couldn't believe it. It grew like a lot in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's good.
Now we're hoping it puts up some good ears on it.
So you're trying to bale hay? Is that
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't do that in the.
Is that cow corn or is that regular?
Oh, that's cow corn. Yep. Probably 50% of it's in full tassel right now.
Wow.
Wow.
And yet I got some that's about that high out of the ground too. Shut season, but it should come along. Oh. But I could do without the humidity.
Oh, God.
Here we all.
That just sucks your energy out, man.
Last night was really bad, around 5 o'clock, it really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been really steamy.
Yeah.
Last night. Today.
Last week was beautiful. I loved it.
You're a true
Oh, yeah.
Islander.
Last week was nice.
You know, the
Last
last,
week was
Yeah.
nice.
last
Was I
meeting,
here last week?
last meeting we were at, Millie McGovern's house got struck with lightning.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I think it didn't. It was unrelated, but it was the same night.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
which
saw
wasn't,
that.
isn't too far from you.
No, she's right down the street. Yeah, she's right. We were home. We were home then. That's close.
Is what, not this time, but the last storm, set of storms, we got 2.5 inches.
Mm.
3 before, and another set of storms. We got about 1/2 inch so far. But it seems like it's been it's so sporadic when it comes. It'll come and rain and then it's gone, or showery
Yeah.
type,
Yeah.
enough to get you soaked.
Yep. Yeah, it's been intermittent today, and then the sun comes out and it's just gross.
Yep.
It's steamy. The sauna.
I guess we can open that hearing at 8:30
Yep.
for 44 Bruce Street.
How are we doing tonight?
Good, how about yourself?
Can't complain today. It's a beautiful day. Got half the day in without it being rainy.
And he didn't have to try to hay, so.
Yeah.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
I haven't been here for the first parts of this, but I've been brought up to speed. I see two new faces that I haven't met before. My name is Bruce Ringwald from GPR, Goldsmith Preston Ringwald. And this is Sean Keenan, the applicant. As you folks are well aware, and if I skip over something, please let me know and I'll jump back to it. Real quick recap from where we started with this thing. Mel started with it. The wetland line had been redefined. Line is shown as through here with the 50-foot and 100-foot buffer lines in green. And existing conditions, same thing here in the proposed conditions. We're here relative to Lot C and the development on Lot C. We had been given some information about how to deal with your new stormwater regulations and whether or not and how much impact in bringing in the full Massachusetts stormwater management is. After your last meeting, I came in and met with Amy after reviewing with Jude and everybody in our office, and we went through the files and looked at other projects that have been previous single-family home development under this. And believe it or not, there's not that many, because a bunch of them looked like single-family homes were part of subdivisions. Mm-hmm. And so they were already over 9 units in a subdivision and full into stormwater management compliance. We had a project that was done by Ross that you folks kind of went back and forth a number of times with them, similar to what we've been doing here. And then you kind of rolled that one into a redevelopment type scenario. So it wasn't a full implementation of the stormwater management. It was kind of a partial implementation of the stormwater management. I assume that well, maybe not. It looks like they're still in the rubber bands. You got everything I emailed out to you on Friday. This right here are the stormwater management calculations, the BMP management of the O&M for when it comes in post. And one thing that Amy and I talked about, and she said that you folks needed to hear, is the impact that you're putting on an individual homeowner that is working on an individual lot for a single-family home is massive. I mean, it's massive on a financial standpoint to engineer it, and it's going to be way more massive on a financial standpoint to install it. It just is. I mean, this is really the first lot that is direct from that standpoint versus the stuff, because Amy and I went back through several years of the stuff, back to August of 16, 2 years ago, when you implemented this thing. And it's definitely has a huge impact to the single family homeowner. If you were to go out and buy a lot that has buffer zone work, you're looking at over $10,000 of engineering costs before you start to implement it. And
That's why I live high and dry on a hill.
yeah, well, you're lucky, but all those high and dry
I'm
spots
kidding,
don't
but-
exist anymore.
Yeah, no, I
Or
know.
not many
It-
of them.
So this lot was not part of a subdivision?
This was part of a A&R plan that created a total of 3 lots. Now,
Right.
when we go,
I'm just trying to follow your
That's
story.
No,
totally,
your point was taken, by the way.
that's totally a good thing, and it was something that Amy and I were talking about. And she's like, "Whoa, you better," she let them know. So this is a stormwater management for Mass.
Yep.
And Chapter 1, as soon as I get through all these checklists here, Chapter 1, Section 1, applicability. Takes us right in here, and it says, with the exception of 1 to 4 lots are exempt from this regulation. Except your bylaw says, if X, then you're here. And that's why we're here, all right? The mass regulations say 0 to 4 lots, you're exempt. 4 to 9, you do the best you practically can. Units, not lots. So if it were duplexes, then you're in there. And then 9 and 10 and above, you got to meet all this stuff. But what you're saying right now is the same thing for 10 units, whether it's duplexes, condominiums, or 10 individual lots. A single family lot that has work in the buffer zone has to meet that. And Jude, coming back and forth and talking with Amy and talking with you guys, he initially said, well, what they did in this other one is they put in infiltration chambers. And so we did that. And then at the last meeting, you guys said, well, what about your pre and post calculations for the 2 and the 10-year storms and the 100-year storms? So we've gone back. Unfortunately, Sean is like, let's get this done. We've had to do that. And we've done that. And what we've done and what is there for you is that we've taken the pre and the post calculations for the 2 and the 10-year storms. We've given you a full description of the site and how it's dealt with. We've given you, for preconditions, we've given you a full description of the site for the post conditions. We've given you a hydraulic summary of what's happening on here for the 2, the 10, and the look-see at the 100-year storm. And then we give you the summary. And in summary, let's turn real quickly here. I'm going to come back and get into all the detail, but I want to address this drainage up front because this is, what this thing has evolved into. And this is a pre-drainage up top, and this is the post conditions on the bottom. In the pre-conditions, we essentially have 2 analysis points. AP1, which is in the non-jurisdictional isolated wetland area, and AP2, which is down back here. And because it's just this lot, but it has this area that runs off to it, we've had to evaluate this whole lot, the
And
whole
the big hill
whole
up.
piece,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah,
which is
you have
up gradient of it.
Yep.
And
Large
that-
contribution.
That is all contributing lands to this portion, and
Yep.
it adds a whole lot
Yep.
of complexness to the site.
Yep.
So in our post conditions, we've got it broken down to, the areas that run to the analysis point 1 and the analysis point 2, and it's broken up into several different areas. And our drainage calcs go through all that and deal with it, and that's the bulk of this right in through here, taking the 2 and the 10 and the 100-year storms, so you get a look-see. This is the summary relative to that part. You want me to hang, Andrew, while you get a drink?
I'm not gonna make it.
You're not going to make it. Well, you got it. We need to have a quorum in here. Come on.
You need his vote. You better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We are concerned about you too. I'm sorry. It's a good thing I've been coming here a long time. I forget I'm on TV too, so I better watch myself. Somebody will be waiting for me outside.
Sometimes we all forget.
So, in the pre-development, analysis point 1 over here, in a 2-year storm gets 0.3 CFS, and in a 10-year storm, 1.7 CFS. In post-construction, there's a slight decrease. It's down to 0.2 CFS and down to 1.4. And that's because in this pre-development case, everything's running over towards, I should probably stick with that sheet that I had up here. Everything's running in this direction, towards this. But now we put septic system, house, another house, grading for all that, and a driveway back into the barn, and the driveway kind of works as a dam, a catch-all, and it's keeping water from getting to here. So we've had to do a bunch of things to get water to that basin, so that wetland remains as a wetland. And then we have the water that's coming down here, and because of this working as a dam, now we have more water coming in this direction than was coming here before, because a big portion was coming here, as you see from this, you know. This area back here doesn't have a lot of development proposed to it. It's got a septic mound, but it's going from a grass condition to a grass condition. This area here is getting a house, a barn, you know, so it's getting a driveway, 2 driveways, 3 driveways. It's getting a bunch of impervious area. And now all that's coming this way. So we've had to put in a sizable little infiltration basin here that also works for detaining, obviously, which is how we make these numbers work. Because this point down here, pre-development in a 2-year, was at 0 CFS. You know, it was getting water, but it wasn't enough to calculate into a tenth. You do this in tenths. The 10-year is at a 0.1. In the developed scenario, we're still at 0. In the 10-year, we're at 0.1. So we were able to detain enough in here, and then we had to do a bunch of infiltration because we had more impervious area. We had impervious barns and sheds that were on the site. We took those into consideration, but now we have an impervious house with a garage, a driveway, a pool and a deck area, another house and a driveway, all part of this contributing area, another house up here, well, that house was there, and then this driveway and another roofed area. So those things are all in place.
What's your delta for impervious?
So delta for impervious is all the way back
I
here.
know it's in there.
Hang on one moment, and we'll give you that good numbers. So our pre-development impervious areas were 7,213 square feet. We added a total impervious area of 24,781. It brought us up to a total impervious of 31,900.
Okay, so 24,000 increase.
24,000 increase.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So, and when we net out in here, pre versus post, we're minus 0.1 CFS here, minus 0.3 CFS here in the 10-year, and we stay even here in the 2 and the 10. In the 100-year storms, we're minus 2.5 CFS, and we're a positive 0.4. But it's into a big wetland area, into a big area, and based on our global look of it, there's going to be minimal, if any, impact on anybody from that increase. We also, when you get into this point, we have to take a look at TSS, the total suspended solids, and the removal of TSS and our trains for all that. And what we've done here, and I guess I can keep it on this page, is we have a water quality swale that comes on down through here. We have a check dam here. This treats all of this runoff from the driveway, paved and gravel, and from the building, because even though it's clean runoff on the roof, as soon as that runoff hits the ground, if it isn't channeled into a recharge chamber, it becomes mixed in. And so now that quantity of water has to be added into the dirty water, quote unquote dirty water, and then be treated. And so that's happened down in here, and this comes into an infiltration basin down in the lower point down here. What happens in this infiltration basin is that as the water comes in and it reaches up to a certain level, between the 2 and the 10-year storms, water will recharge or will go through this culvert, and we have, I'm going to flip to this page so I don't say something wrong. We have 2 6-inch pipes under the driveway, and we did it as 2 6-inch pipes to maintain a lower profile on the structure. If they were too big, then we wouldn't have adequate cover over the pipes. We'd have to raise everything up, and we're trying to keep that in a reasonable check. And that'll put water back into this wetland area over here. In a 100-year storm, and only in a 100-year storm, this water will come up and it will go over emergency flow spillway in this direction and out into this wetland, as it was designed to before.
Those 6-inch pipes would fill up, is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, they'd fill up and they'd be flowing in this direction, but water would be coming in and it would be coming in faster than it's recharging because this is an infiltration basin, so it's allowing it to recharge. We went out and did test holes here and here and these two locations to get you the data and make sure we had the proper offset from here. This one is built from the ground level and going up. And around the barn here, the barn's up a bit as well from that standpoint. So let's talk about the recharge. First, we're taking the building out front and we're recharging it into a set of Qualtech chambers underneath the ground out front. We can do that because we have enough height and clearance and space to do that. We don't have enough clearance here to do that.
How shallow is groundwater?
Shallow groundwater varies around the site. In here, I believe it was like at 24 to 30 inches right in here, so it was fairly close.
Yep.
It got down quite a bit more in the back, believe it or not. This was a nice gravel area.
Okay.
This one is, I think, 32 inches. I have it in the folder. I can pull it out. I'm pretty certain this was 32, hence this basin is starting basically at
Right,
the
so you don't
grade.
have a lot, yeah, you don't
So
have a lot
because
to play
we
with.
gotta live with what we
Yep.
have there, so we added it on top of it, and then we had to create a berm around it. So we had a slope, and now we're creating a bowl to take
Right.
advantage of that slope, and hence you see these contours kind of fair out here. They're coming out to tie into the contours out in here to take advantage of that additional
Yep.
volume,
Hillside.
so we can get that volume out of the space. So this roof recharges into galleys here. Not enough depth to groundwater to get recharge here by the time you get your collection and get it back in. The barn has a drip edge all the way around it, which is detailed on the second page here, of being 18 inches deep and 2 feet wide, at least 6 inches beyond the drip edge of the roof, but 2 foot wide. That area was taken into account to size for the recharge from the roof. For the smaller storms, when you get to the larger storms, that water is piped back over to this basin so that we aren't we're adding more water back to this basin, and that's part of how we're getting to do that. This basin in the bottom here gets recharged as well from below the inverts of these culverts that come out here. So there's a minimal area of recharge in this basin, but we are getting that. And then once this water has either flowed in a big storm over the spillway and more moderate storms into here, that lower amount of water will recharge into the ground there. And we've gone through and done all of the calculations and the timing for all that. So with the water quality swale in the basin, this train has an 80% TSS removal. And our infiltration numbers, I'm going to have to look up because I did not memorize everything here. I will tell you that.
Do you anticipate a significant amount of TSS based on,
No.
your, okay,
No.
just
But-
checking, I mean,
The fact of the matter is...
I know you have to address it, I'm just.
We have to address it in the calculations,
Yep.
as if you're aware, from this
Yep.
guy right here. And that says what you have to do and how much you have to account for.
Yep.
We have a paved driveway and a gravel packed driveway.
Yep.
You're going to have...
Yeah, I
that
was
done.
aware from the site visit that, the gravel driveway will be paved and, so, okay.
And we did add, so that we had some space, we narrowed this driveway from these two driveways from the previous visits from 14 feet wide to 12 feet wide. But we did add some space over here, so we had some room to do some parking. And, that was kind of a trade-off, but it was something that was requested, and we were able to accommodate it, and so we did. So we get into the infiltration volumes in here, and the difference between the natural infiltration, the pre-development, and the required infiltration is 1,097 cubic feet are needed for recharge, and we're providing almost double that between the drip edge around the barn, the galleys here, and the lower portion of the basin. We're providing 1,994 cubic feet of recharge volume. And then this is just the mounting analysis and the timing showing that this dries up in it's 72 hours as required under the guidelines over here. And total recharge provided in the BMPs. So, in summary, since we were before you last, we have gone from trying to meet what we understood were the requirements that you wanted us to meet to getting smacked across the side of the head in reality going, they want us to fully meet the stormwater management for a single family lot, not just have recharge galleys. And so then we've gone and made certain that that is met. We've given the galleys out here, the recharge trench is around the building, and the recharge from the bottom here, the treatment of the water quality in the swale, again, clean water, and all treated water into here, overflowing to keep this basin receiving the same amount of water as before, and overflowing here in a major storm and meeting the same water to the basin.
Okay, some of you know I farmed this property 60 years ago,
I do know that.
okay? And it was always wet over on this side. And it gets real wet. Those houses over the stone wall are having a real hard time with water in the basement.
Yeah, the far one, I've talked to the guy.
And I personally hate to see anything going this way.
But it's only going over there on big stone.
I don't mind it going that way, but I think you could end up getting sued if you start increasing water over the stone
I don't
wall.
think he's changing it.
I didn't-
No,
I didn't
we're
know
reducing
the
it.
water,
Yeah.
it reduced it.
Well, I mean, that's just off the top of my head, just knowing the,
And Jim, I totally appreciate that, and from a practical standpoint and a historical looking at something standpoint, you definitely are the person that I turn to for something like that. The reality is, as I said in the beginning, and I can show you in here, and you have in your copies, and you have in the stuff that we emailed you last week, we are reducing the water going to this basin.
as long as it isn't going through the wall into that,
No.
creating more of an issue for
No,
that guy
we're
over there.
reducing the volume of water that is
The
headed
whole
there
site,
now
Yeah.
and pulling it back. We're recharging in here.
Believe me, this is not the plan I wanted. If you guys remember, I wanted everything from here forward, but that little bubble right there
Yeah.
prevented
Yeah.
me from putting everything in the front.
Yeah.
I believe me, I did not want to do this
Is
to the
that,
property.
is that water quality swale, well, does that stay wet?
No,
Does not.
no. The portion, this latter portion here, will have water in it because we have a check dam right here that looks like this. There's a check dam that's in here that's a stone, a 2-inch minus stone with a Marafi paper wrap with a 1 to 3 inch stone over the top of it. So the purpose of this is to slow down the water that's coming down that swale and allow any sediment that's in there to settle out into that swale. And then it spills over in the top and then and it dries up by infiltrating through here as well as recharging into the ground. Now the other thing that happens is that this is a grass swale the whole way. So when we have not the deluge that we got in the middle of the afternoon today, but when we have like the smaller rains that happen, this is going to come in, and this grass swale is going to be taking sediment and impurities out of the water as it flows through the 3 to 6 inch grass that's going to be in the swale, and that'll then come on down here to the bottom.
Any questions, folks?
Well, that's.
I asked mine as well.
Well, that's.
The only thing,
okay.
oh, sorry. The only thing that I think we need to address is the debris pile. Amy had mentioned. in
Yeah,
her
last
notes.
meeting we mentioned the debris pile back here.
Thank you. And I had that highlighted, and I think I probably even forgot to put it into the piece. We need to ask for a waiver under your regulations to get in there to remove it. Your waiver is no disturbance within the, within the 50
50
foot,
feet.
and obviously anything closer than that, which is this debris pile's in the middle. Sean's done some exploration, and he's found things that we clearly don't want in the wetlands in there, and I think
Yep.
you guys are all aware
I
of
haven't
that.
touched it since the last meeting, so if you
Yep.
guys want to walk down and take a look, you're welcome.
I've seen it.
It's
Yeah.
full of trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do want,
I think that's
do
a
want to request a
public
waiver.
benefit
I'll
to
give
the
you an
Before I
wetland
put
to
the hay bales
remove.
in, I'll just rip it out of there and then
Yeah.
we'll put the hay bales in.
Yeah, and then, it's got enough hydraulic connection and wetland vegetation and everything else that, it's gonna,
The seed bed.
Yeah,
Where you
I said I'd
you
use
just
some
want to
loam
do it
too.
in
I
dry
use a little
weather.
loam and just
Yeah.
rake over the loam that's up
Mhm.
top, right back over it, and be ready to go.
Or hay. Yeah, I mean, I think we just want to make sure you do it in dry weather,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, that's not good
Yeah,
for
we'll do it
equipment
right, we'll
anyways,
do it right
but,
away, yeah.
but I you know, I
Probably got
definitely
enough
think
HF
that's
in the barn
beneficial.
up there to throw over it.
What's that?
Probably got enough HF up in the barn up there to throw.
There is a lot of them that's.
We just throw it over.
Yeah, I'll put it right there.
So you guys will submit a formal
I'll,
request.
I'll give you a letter on that and have that right to you.
Nice.
As soon as it dries out, I'll go in and do that, and then we'll put the bills in.
Carl, you had
I
some
think we have to do a waiver. So
Oh
I
yeah,
think
we
you
have to do the
wait
waiver
for the
first,
paperwork.
and then
Oh,
Yeah,
Part, yeah.
we have to do the waiver.
There's
They have to
paperwork
issue an
first.
order.
Okay.
So you'll have a dry spot
Yeah,
in
that's fine.
August.
August,
Yeah.
to do it.
that's fine.
Yeah, that's it. Should be good time there.
You're good?
Yeah.
What I talked with Amy was to hopefully get us to a point this evening that you folks felt comfortable with what we've done to bring the project along in this manner. I was hoping to close, but I forgot the waiver letter, so what I would like to request is that a straw vote that you guys are comfortable, and that you discuss and authorize Amy, as she and I talked about, to, when she returns from vacation, to write an order of conditions. And that on I think your next meeting is August 13th, if I remember my schedule correctly.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
That on August 13th, you could start by receiving the letter, the waiver letter, and close the hearing, and then address the order of conditions. And then sometime shortly after that, Sean could,
I don't know what all that means, mumbo jumbo to me. I'm hoping we vote,
Your
it's good,
permit.
and then we can get a waiver next meeting, right?
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
Anybody have any objections, Dennis?
because if we close it, then we can do the order of conditions in the meantime, before August 13th.
Right, they'll draft it before then, and they have to sign it at the
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay.
I'm comfortable with everything. So
yeah, I definitely appreciate the the gyrations that
No, it's
you've
a
gone
lot-
through.
it's
I
a
mean,
lot of
this
work.
has been
A lot of
this has
work
definitely been a
for a single
process from
family.
the initial conception to.
I learned a lot along the way.
I think we all did.
So what's the consensus of the board? Are you comfortable with it? I guess would be.
Yeah.
But you need to get the waiver letter.
I'll have the
in.
waiver in the email and over here tomorrow.
That's. But she's still gotta do the.
She's got to draft it.
Yeah,
She comes
Amy's back
back on
July
she comes
30th.
back on the 30th.
Yep.
And she and I are just looking to make certain that she had time with other backlog stuff.
Yeah.
And she said she'd have plenty of time between there and.
So we don't vote on it and then get the waiver later?
No, they need to have that in house in hand. I could probably
Oh,
hand.
that can't be an addendum?
I could probably hand draft it, or you could make it a condition that I give you. Either way, I could make it a condition.
But then if we close it and then there's like one minor question, it's actually more of a headache to reopen it and it will delay it rather than just
Really?
leaving
It'll be
it
the
for
same
one next meeting.
Time-wise, it'd be the
It's-
same, because
yeah.
the 13th is
She's
when
up,
they.
going back again.
But I think we've all just said we're comfortable with
we're
what
good.
you've
All right.
done, which is what your engineer had
That's fine.
asked for, that we're. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Sleep
guys.
a little better.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
have a good night.
Continued public hearing, notice of intent, 10 Fort Pond Road.
Can I ask, I was in a planning board and selectmen's meeting downstairs at 7:15. Of course, they didn't hear us till almost 8:30, so
That's quicker than the planning board.
Been there.
No, the planning board's quicker than anything they said.
No, we've delayed our meeting.
Is it possible to take 5 minutes of your time? Would you guys,
I wish you'd showed up about 15 minutes ago.
Me too. I'm just gonna show you a picture. And what it is, had a guy come over and look at everything. He gave me an order of conditions. Well, he told me what I should do and what I shouldn't do. This is on 5 Scott Road.
Yep.
Okay.
I watched part of the last meeting,
Okay,
so I
this-
caught some of it.
So this is the outline of it. I hate, not hay bale, what do they call those things in the tube?
Wattles.
Yeah, those.
Wattles.
Those things that stink. So I spread those all out, stopped everything. The only thing that didn't work out very well is that the slope going down to it, the rain we got. So
Uh-huh.
I don't really want to address the slope so much. I got everything else stabilized, everything's great. I'd rather put crushed stone in it so that the channels are still stay there, because it does wash down sediment. And did not, the wattle stopped everything, so nothing's going back in. Everything's hunky-dory with all that. So that, I just want to let you know that I did all that right off the bat. I beat all the storms, everything's great. So, and I know I was coming back for this meeting, but I didn't realize I was going to be so late, so I apologize. But do you want to see the picture too? Okay. Sorry, guys. This is just from the backyard or whatever, looking down at it. So, and the funny thing is, it's already growing back. Everything that was, it's growing back already. So, and I knew it would. It was just a matter of time, you know. So, it's looking really good. I'm pretty happy with everything. And again, it's we're all set.
You got a plan proposed? Is that in the
I
works?
haven't heard back from him yet as far as it was, but
Yeah.
he said, listen, let's just stabilize it right now, make sure that nothing goes anywhere, and nothing has, it's all good. I just, again, it
Is
got,
the slope in the buffer?
I don't know what's in the buffer, what isn't in the buffer.
It's all
It's
rated.
been there for 30-something years or whatever like this, and,
Yeah.
so everything's, as far as I'm concerned, it's, well, of course, that's me saying it, but it looks good, it's really nice, there's nothing going into the wetlands. And it's stabilized, so that's what we're really looking for, and that's what it is. So
But you're gonna
So if
continue,
you're-
but you're gonna
yeah.
continue with the rest of it?
I'm gonna continue stabilizing what's left. I'm gonna plant seed on a conservation mix. I'm gonna plant that once it's this one, because nothing really germinates in this heat. So that's what I'm gonna try and do, is just hand seed it, and the stuff at the end will all be growing over another 6 months. You won't need any whatever.
No, but you were gonna come in with some plans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I.
Survey.
what
Yeah,
I
so we
already
need to
did.
discuss whatever work you're gonna do within the buffer needs
Well, we want
like a
we
plan
want
so we
we
can.
want a permit.
But thank you
Yeah.
for
Well, we're gonna.
the waddles, but
Yeah.
we do need to, whatever is within the 100 feet, we need a plan so we can all be on the same page. and-
Right.
Yeah, I'll have the engineer, I guess you'd call
Yeah.
him, whatever, have him, do the drawing or
Survey.
whatever, but that's,
Yeah.
so that's what I want to do
Survey.
first and foremost, is get it
Okay.
stabilized, which
Great,
it actually always has been, it's just, I just got the blessing to do it, I guess. All right, so and I apologize for not being earlier.
Yep,
All right,
it's okay.
I'm gonna go back to a meeting.
we understand.
All right, thank you, guys.
Been
Have a
there,
good
thank
night.
you.
Right. Okay, this is the notice of intent 10 Fort Pond for construction of driveway for a single-family home in Acton. Go for it.
Well, I'm Dan Gannon from Stamsky, for the record. So I'm sure you guys have seen this a couple times before. So the resource areas on site are bordering vegetated wetland here, or sorry, non-jurisdictional isolated wetland here, with the potential vernal pool in here. You guys had asked for in the last meeting that we go out there and stake where it is exactly, which is this darker line in here, where previously it was marked at this lighter green line. Another thing that you guys asked for in the last meeting was that this replacement, this compensatory area, be moved over here. There isn't enough room over there to bring it all over here, and we'd rather only disturb 2 spots rather than split it up into 3 spots. So we decided to leave it just here and up here as well.
Were you in that 2 weeks ago, or was the last time you guys were in like months ago?
Months ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't recall.
Okay, I wasn't here for the last meeting, I wanted to make sure.
We went out in the field and looked at it.
Well, and Amy did some observations and,
She was gonna follow up to our field visit with some observations, wasn't she?
yeah.
Was a
And
determination
that
made
happened.
about whether or not it was a vernal pool? I thought the determination
So,
was.
yeah, I thought that was the last thing that was supposed to happen. Did you go out during the spring at all to make observations regarding?
I was not retained to do that until the week before Memorial Day.
Okay,
So
which
you
is
missed it.
completely outside the window.
Right.
Amy
Because
found.
Amy did some observations that
And there, I mean, I did
indicates
see
that it
some
is.
things, right.
And then there's also the vernal pool habitat, which was also a question, which the driveway would go in. I think we need Amy. What are you looking for tonight? Just a discussion or,
I suppose a discussion.
okay,
Under the definitions of a vernal pool, it has to have water for 2 continuous months.
Mhm.
So this was the water at the water line at the end of May. I know that it was flooded quite extensively before that, but
Yeah.
we feel that this is the accurate, actual line of the vernal pool that holds the water for the 2 continuous months.
Mhm.
Any activity that would have up in here would not survive. This was dry all through here when I came out to see this.
But isn't
I
dry as part of the habitat, because once they leave the vernal pool, then they need the
Right.
dry.
But the point is, I guess, is that we're not impacting the actual vernal pool itself. And there's nothing that would prevent us from accessing this property. We are within, it's not actually certified right now, it's shown as potential by the state. But there's nothing within the regulations that would prevent access to this property, especially since this would be the least impact to resource areas, if considering the alternative. And
The alternative in Acton?
yep, this is the alternative in Acton. Right now, we're coming through this narrow point right here. The alternative is to come through the narrow point, which is this area here.
About 200 feet there. Yeah, 150 there.
Yeah, 150 feet.
So are you saying there's nothing preventing it right
45.
now because it's a potential vernal pool versus a certified vernal pool?
Well, I'm saying even if it is a certified vernal pool, that would not prevent access through that area. Because, and I'm gonna state that even if we were working in the certified vernal pool, it would not prevent access to that parcel, because we cannot by law alter more wetlands or more resource area than what we're proposing. It's illegal to require an applicant to alter more resource area than what he's proposing to alter.
But you can allow someone to go through a vernal pool, is that what you're saying?
Well-
As opposed to altering additional wetland?
On a parcel with an existing house?
Well, under the regulations, the applicant cannot be forced to alter more resource areas than what he's proposing to alter. It doesn't matter what the resource area is, it just says resource area. So this is, as far as resource area goes, this is isolated land subject to flooding, this is BVW. BVW is considered to be more valuable, if you will, under the regulations, even though this has a potential vernal pool. And I'm not denying that this isn't a vernal pool, we just haven't certified it yet.
Right.
I don't think it's,
No, it's definitely a vernal pool.
yeah.
No
But
question.
we're not, in the end, we're not actually gonna be working in it, in the actual vernal pool, and we,
The crossing goes right through it, doesn't it?
well, it goes through
The habitat?
the habitat here. The vernal pool itself is right here.
Where that crossing was, when I was out there with Amy, we looked at where the crossing was, it was full of water.
Right.
It was going right through the water.
Right, but you have to have water there for 2 continuous months. So if you were out in April and it's underwater, that's only 1 month. This is where the water level was by the end of May. So this is the area that holds the water for the 2 continuous months in the spring that you need to make the vernal pool viable. Because you need 30 days for the eggs to hatch, and another 30 days for the tadpoles or salamanders to develop and come out of the pool. So they need 60 days of standing water, and this is the 60 days of standing water here. This area was dry less than 60 days from the time the season began.
Well, is it any given year, or is it an average of years? Like what if you had a drought year and you went out there and said that?
If it was a drought year, and I have had that happen, we'd go back the next year and do it again, do the monitor again. This was not a drought year, though.
So I think, I mean, I'd like to go out and maybe see it again in its current state.
Sure.
Do you
Yeah,
guys
it's
wanna-
been a while.
Do you guys want to do a site walk maybe this week at some point? And then for our next meeting, we'll have a fresh look at it.
Yeah, we
I
can
know
schedule one.
Amy did.
Yeah, I'd like
it's-
Amy to be back.
Oh yeah, that'd be very
After
helpful.
Yeah, I'm
she's
gonna
back
wait. I'm
July
gonna wait for
30th.
that.
July
That's-
30th.
yeah,
Is that
well,
okay?
I would say
July
to
30th?
have the site walk closer to the next meeting, so it's
That would be
fresher-
August
it's fresher in
13th.
everybody's,
Yep.
since it's at least 3 weeks, right, to the next meeting.
Yeah, August 13th, which is
So if she's back the 30th, well, if you want to talk to her for that week, whenever she's not, I know she's
That's
probably
fine.
got a lot of catch up.
July 30th.
But whenever she and you can get together, I will be available whatever day you want to do that on.
Excellent. Okay, we'll coordinate
Yeah, I'm pretty
that.
much around that whole week.
Okay.
All right.
Other than the 30th, I'm around that whole week. And I'm around the
Any
week of
other
6th.
questions?
So just so you know, I have been retained. I just wasn't retained until
In
way
time.
too
No,
late.
I understand how that works.
So
Yep.
this coming spring, no matter what happens, we will be doing the monitoring and getting all the information to certify it, and I believe that shouldn't be a problem. Even in a drought year, this looks like, particularly right in this area, you got 4 feet of
Yeah.
water or more right in this area, and that's where
Yeah.
most of the bush are, so you can, probably most of the stuff is attached to the stuff right in there anyway. So the deepest part is always got water, I think, every year. But I am officially retained. It just, we kept after the applicant all spring, and he
Yep.
just finally got
Now,
around
in-
to it after I said, there's only 1 week left, and I don't think I can get enough information for the state to verify it.
Okay.
But this is all that we have done. So basically, all that we have done is verify where the water is for the 2 months, where there's 2 continuous months of standing water.
Sure.
So
Okay.
that's all the information we have tonight.
Yep.
Okay.
Understood. Okay.
So yeah, so whenever she has my
Yeah.
contact information. So I will be. I can always make whatever day you want to. Do you want to do in the evening or the morning or weekends? I'll make myself available. So.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
Oh, yeah, this is not right. Oh. Oh,
They
67 mil.
considered a drought at certain times, and I can't put dates on it, but we
Oh,
were,
June, that's true, late May, in June.
or April, there was certain areas where it was really dry.
Oh, really?
And then it started to get some rain. And they were thinking about it being a drought.
Yeah.
But I
No,
can't,
that's true.
I can't talk off the top of my head and give you dates.
Yeah.
But I know that
Can
it
look it
was,
up.
Amy felt very strongly.
I-
I looked at it.
I tried to pull her report back out. I have it and I couldn't find it. I tried to pull it
Yeah,
out.
couldn't.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ready?
yeah,
Ready?
as we'll ever be.
What are we talking?
67 mil.
7
again.
mil. Okay, yes,
So-
I'm ready for that one.
Yeah. All right, so what we tried to do is we tried to listen to what you guys had to say last time and come back with some new plans, some new ideas, some new thoughts for you guys to consider. So, most of you guys know me, but, my start in Littleton was that I moved here in about 2003, and shortly after that I started designing septic systems. And I found out through that process that Littleton was one of the hardest towns to work in. And I said, well, I don't want my town being known for that. So that's when I got on the Board of Health. And I really tried to help people. And I feel that's a role of boards, is to help people navigate the regulations. We have regulations that are black and white.
And
But-
protect the environment.
Yes, yes. Agreed, but we have, and
That's
then we
where
have
the
regulations,
regulations are
we
for,
have
right?
regulations there for that. And,
Yep.
sometimes when you can't follow them strictly, we have to work together and hopefully navigate them and try to find reasons to allow waivers. Let's just put it out there, right? So what we did on this one is we have the same 24 by 48. We've moved it a little bit closer to the road, and that reduces the amount of impervious area from the 50-foot no-touch zone. Existing is about 840 square feet within the 50-foot no-touch, and this alternate that you see moves it down to about 790. Also, another factor to look at is the existing foundation is approximately 21 feet from the water edge, from the bank at its closest point, and the new alternative for the foundation moves it to 35. So we've moved it. We also reduced the proposed deck so that it could possibly be cantilevered and not have any footing, so it's now an 8 by 20, so there will be nothing on the ground supporting it. We also took the driveway and instead of having a paved driveway, we're going to have a gravel driveway. And although, we're not at the point where we're showing details now, but there would be some sort of edging material, whether it be, some sort of concrete beam or just a wood beam to prevent the gravel from migrating, yes. So a couple of things that we heard you talking about at the last meeting is that the proposed plan needs to have a lower impact to the pond. And that's what we're trying to do on this one by moving it further away, so the construction will be further away from it. We're also reducing the impervious area in the 50-foot no-touch zone. We also, again, we're not at the level of design, but based on the soil there and the topography in the proposed house, we can easily infiltrate all of the roof water into the front, put a dry well right in the front, and we can capture all the roof in gutters and leaders and head it out there, so that there'll be nothing that could potentially cause erosion over here. Let's see. So, I'm seeing this as very minor impact, especially once it's built. There will be obviously some construction impacts that will have to be mitigated, and that's obviously why we have a notice of intent process. But as far as potential runoff or potential harmful pollutants getting into the lake, this is very much minimalized. One of the other items that was, I believe Carl was mentioning a lot, was precedent setting. And I talked a little bit about that, and based on my experience, the Conservation Commission can't set precedents, okay? So no one can say, you have to give me this because you gave it to somebody else. That doesn't mean someone's not gonna come in and say, well, you gave it to them, why can't you give it to me? And I feel that on this property, there is justification for a waiver because this is a unique lot in the fact that, the lot, I can give you this. This is nothing formal. This is just my thoughts that I really put together for myself. If you want to just kind of follow along and try to poke holes in it, we can do that. I made 4 copies, sorry. So the lot area for this is 26,560. The upland, so the part that's not water, is about 12,500. Of that, 9,300 is within the 50. Okay, so there's not a lot of room there. And then the remaining 3,200 that you have to use is within the 30-foot setback. So if you take all of the town regulations and put them together, the only way to build this house is through waivers. Whether it's conservation, give us some, ZBA, give us some. It's funny that Board of Health, we actually can comply with this one.
Did town council say legally we can't set a precedent? How do you know that?
That's what I know from my experience, because when I was on boards, we were concerned about setting precedents, and we told. What's that?
I'm just wondering the basis of the.
Yeah, a legal precedent can only be set, from my understanding, ZBA. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, look into it. And correct me if I'm wrong. That's my understanding from my experience.
I think any decision sets some sort of precedent.
Some sort of, because somebody comes in and says my neighbor got it,
regardless of whether we.
Yeah. So when we start talking about waivers, Amy was mentioning that we have to meet the standards to grant a waiver for any project, and the first one that's in the regulations is public interest, and I believe that repairing this house and replacing it with a nicer structure is in the public interest for a few reasons. Just starting with it, it's not an attractive home in the neighborhood. My apologies, but it has been left to disrepair and is deteriorating, and without replacing, it's going to continue to deteriorate. I feel it's also a safety hazard. I've learned about attractive nuisance where, hey, kids say there's a vacant house in it, let's go play in it, and then they, go and get hurt in there. So, also, the materials of construction at this time are not up to today's standards, so there could be asbestos and lead paint in there, and if left unattended, what happens to those materials? I feel also it's gonna be in the town's interest because any new house going in there will have a greater value, that adds money to the tax rolls, and that benefits all of us who live in town. If it's just left to deteriorate, it's gonna become the town's problem.
Does the town own this?
No, it's
No.
owned now, but
It
you
is,
know,
okay.
yeah, but if I don't wanna speak for the owner, but I mean, it's happened before. where
Oh
people
yeah, no, I
can't build
understand
on,
the
they just-
distressed property. I missed the last meeting, so
Okay.
that's part of my. I'm just trying to
Yeah,
clarify.
and I'm
so-
talking very fast because I wanna get done before you cut me off, before I go too long.
Yeah.
Let's see, the other part is consistent with the bylaw. You know, this will be consistent with the bylaw. Yes, we're asking that it be waived for the 50-foot buffer zone, but anything else will be consistent with the bylaw as far as preventing erosion, infiltrating stormwater, and you know, anything else that's required by NOI. And to make it consistent with the bylaw, the commission is obviously allowed to condition the NOI. So constructing a new home is, again, it can be done without damaging the environment. And when we talk about environmentally damaging practical alternative, what can we do out here? You know, what is something that's gonna be able to be built and sold and reasonably lived in? I mean, it's only an 837 square foot home, structure right now. That's pretty small house for even 2 people to be living in.
Seniors would like that.
But seniors don't have the money to build them. But yes, I take
Yeah.
your.
Are you,
I shouldn't argue with you every time you say something.
So just to back, so again, I apologize,
Yeah.
I wasn't here
Yeah.
for the last meeting, so just to back up, so the home is in a state where like redevelopment of the existing structure is not possible. I'm just trying to understand, so that,
No,
you're
this
telling
is
me that's not,
It's camp house. It's not insulated. The floors are
Okay.
just not safe
Deteriorating.
standards, and yeah, I mean windows.
does it have a
inside.
basement?
Yes, it does.
Is it, okay, and so is this gonna be like on a slab? I would imagine groundwater is super shallow.
So-
How is that? Like a
Yeah,
sump pump?
groundwater was just about where the lake was.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where you'd expect
but
it to be.
The water elevation was, you know, let's see here,
I've walked by that house a lot. I've often wondered about
Oh,
the
yeah.
basement with the groundwater.
So-
It's gonna be challenging.
The water was about 214 and a half, and we're proposing to put the garage slab at 218, which is pretty
Okay.
close to having that driveway come in there. It does slope
Yep.
up a little bit. So we'll be above groundwater for that, but we have the benefit of down this end where the septic system is going, that area is higher. So we could fill in front of the foundation a little bit so that, you know, you don't have 4 feet of foundation showing. Down toward the end of the driveway, you may as it slopes down, but, you know, right now, we're probably only gonna have about a foot and a half or maybe 2 feet of foundation showing. So, you know, and I have a few thoughts, and I've been thinking about this a lot for 2 weeks. And you know, this 50-foot no-touch zone, you know, it's a good idea, right? We can keep people further away from the buffer zone, from the wetlands and resource areas. It's great for the point. It's great for all these places all these new subdivisions that go in town, keeping people a little bit further away from destroying habitat and wetland. I don't think this is the kind of property that was the intent of the bylaw. This property was there before. The 50-foot just really limits what can be done out there, and I think there's just justification for a waiver on this because this property is kind of, the term that's being thrown around a lot now is unintended consequence. I really don't think the bylaw was intended for this type of property. It was intended to limit the amount of work that can be done on this property. Done.
What's the closest point that you're to the wetland now?
To the bank, there's no wetland. To the bank, it
35.
I mean,
is,
not to the, I mean to the water,
Said
to the
35.
resource area.
to the resource area, yeah. The 35 goes from 30, goes from 21 to 35.
So the edge of the, where is the closest point?
It's here to here is existing, and at this point is similar
The
to
new
this point to
the
that
new
point.
construction,
Yeah,
that point?
That's a deck,
That's
so,
a deck.
Right,
yeah, I'm
it's the
sorry, it's not
overhang of the
labeled.
deck.
Yeah, so the closest point of foundation is what I quoted, I didn't quote deck. So there,
Is the deck elevated?
yes. The deck will be even with the second floor, which is 226, and the grade underneath there is about 218. So it'll be about 8 feet above grade.
And then the set of stairs in the back is going up to the deck?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't at the last meeting.
Yep,
Well,
that's
I
fine.
was, but
You
I
were,
left.
but you had to go home and get a good night's sleep, yeah.
I did. So you guys have brought the house up to the street quite a bit from the last plan that
You know, I probably should have gotten that number. I was more focused on what we had before. But yes, it is moved closer to the street. I think it's probably at least 5 feet closer.
What are the maximums for like closeness? I'm not familiar with the ZBA.
25 feet.
Well, I talked to
For
Roland.
planning.
So the zoning setback for residential throughout town is 30 feet.
30 feet, okay.
And I talked to Roland, how close can you go? And he said, well, of course, he gives me some elusive answer. He says, well, if I'm a builder, I want to get as close as possible. If I'm on the zoning board of appeals, I want to go as far away as possible. You know, I'm trying to get to a point where it's feasible. If you're going to have a house that's too close to a road, this is probably the road to do it on. There's not a lot of traffic. You know, you don't have, you know, you have the plows, they can plow both sides of the street. You know, the pavement is a few feet off the property line, so you're not gonna have, you know, snow, at this point, you're not gonna have snow flying up onto your front porch or through your front windows. So,
That would be unpleasant.
yeah, I would wanna stay at least 10 feet away. I can't remember where we're at right now. We're probably at, I think we're at, let's see, the existing 25, so we're about 20 right now.
20.
You're 20 off the road.
Yeah. And that's not approved yet. We would still have to get that approved
Yeah.
by ZBA.
Is the existing house then 25 feet?
25.7.
I know it's
yeah.
close. I've never,
Yeah.
obviously, I've never measured
So
it.
if you
but from going by, I know it's close.
say you move the house closer to the street,
Even closer than this now.
even closer than it is
Yeah.
now, and you gain 10 more feet, what does that now put our distance at from the closest point?
Let's say, you know, the house is 48 feet long, so 48 times 10, 400 square feet maybe?
No, what's the closest point
Oh.
to the?
31 and 45 feet, I believe, right? 'Cause it's
Oh, how much
21.
further? How much
It'll be
further?
31.
It's gonna be, I'm not saying it's a straight line, but it'll be almost, you'll get almost as much as you get towards the street. Like, you know, just because it's curves and things,
Yeah,
I
but
can't tell you
wouldn't
exactly.
wanna walk out the front door and into the street either.
Yeah.
Well,
What about like where the septic is? It looks like, is that flippable? I mean, is that a better spot for a house? It's higher, it looks like from the topography. And actually it does go uphill.
And you-
Then you-
wider
And
here.
then you said you have 4 feet.
That
To
works,
groundwater?
the septic works there because we don't have to build a mound. There's an existing slope there.
Yep,
So there's
understood.
no, you know, and we meet the, if you're
Meet
familiar with
Title
septics, we meet the 15-foot breakout without building a wall and things like that. So if we
Oh,
came down
I'm not
here.
familiar with that level of detail, but
So, all right,
Okay.
easy enough. We can do this without a wall. If we move it down here,
Yeah.
we'd probably have to construct a wall.
got it, okay. Just a question, because it's higher and.
And it's a
where the
natural soil
house
here.
is-
It's nice, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, Okay.
And I think if you look at where this 50-foot line comes, it does, you know, come to the closest point, you know, right where the garage slab is, and then it kind of
Mhm.
creeps back out. So I really don't think you're gonna gain much by moving it down that way.
Yeah. And what's the increase in square footage? Because that was also something I missed from the last meeting.
Yes.
So it's 8 something now, and it's going to be,
24 by 48.
okay, with
11.
2 stories.
Yeah. No, right now they're planning on
And
one
there's no
story.
garage currently, is there?
No,
Right? Okay.
but they're just using the basement as garage.
Okay. I'm just trying to, again,
What was it, Jim?
understand
What
the
was your number? I
changes
don't have
from
that.
the
Would be the,
1152.
Okay.
So 1152, and it's currently
860. I like to use round numbers.
Out
Does
of
that count the
curiosity, the
count
foundation
the
of this house,
So
how
it's-
close is that to the pavement?
Okay, hold on a second, for just a second. So we're talking, when we're talking these areas,
1152
we're
is
talking
living-
just
living
foot, no, we're
space.
just talking footprint,
Yep,
Yeah.
vertical footprint. And it happens to be the same as living space because it's a single floor. So the base, the garage takes up half the basement.
got it, okay.
All right, sorry, Jim.
How close now, if you move it, how much, this is the property line, but where's the pavement, edge of pavement?
You can see it's that dash line right where you see the catch basin. So this dash line is the edge of pavement. So it's about
So
4
it's
feet.
another,
4 feet from the edge of pavement, yeah.
so if you moved it 10 feet, you'd have 14 feet.
If we're 10 feet off the line, we have 14 feet, yeah.
Yeah,
From-
before you hit pavement,
Yeah,
even though that's still, it's town property, but I'm just,
Right away.
Right, and this isn't like some of the streets that could get widened anytime, right? There's nowhere to go on this.
Yeah, so I'd like to see it maybe moved up, maybe 10 feet and
10-foot offset or 10 foot from, or 10 foot from where it is, yeah.
10 feet closer to the road.
In addition to what he's already done?
Yeah.
So another 15 feet. So it would be totally moved another, so would be 10 feet off the road?
Yes. The front face would be, well, no, it would be
No.
about 14 feet off of the
14
road,
and
10 feet off of the
15.
property line. Yeah. Now, where does that number come from? Why is it not 5? Why is it not 8? Why is it not 10? You know, why is it 10?
I mean, we're dealing with 21 feet and 35
We're trying to
feet.
move it back as far as we possibly can.
Yeah.
At least that's what we're talking about,
Mhm.
and something that might be reasonable
Okay.
off the road. I think that's what we're.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we're trying to get to that
It is
place.
a tough site. I mean, and
What we had
it's-
talked about before was that they have the existing.
Yeah, I mean,
footprint.
reconstruction of the existing footprint would be a different ballgame for this, right?
Right.
I mean,
Right. That's why we
yeah.
we
And-
we get sent down this.
Okay.
And we could do that. You could just, because it's
Yeah.
there, you can, the foundation there
Right.
is not, doesn't meet today's standards. You never want to put a house on top of the foundation that's
Mine
there.
doesn't either. I'm sure
Right,
it's
right.
others.
So, at that point,
Yeah.
we're gonna be putting on a new foundation anyway, so it's not saving anything as far as construction impact.
Yeah, no, I understand
And
the,
it's not
the
really-
economic
yeah.
trade-off.
And we're not,
Yep.
um,
Again, I'm just trying to
yeah,
understand.
and we're not saving much because, when everything's infiltrated, it's not, high density use, all those things they talk about in the,
Yep.
there's no, what is it, in higher uses, no pollutant loads, higher pollutant loads, it's just a house.
The,
We talk about
your
stormwater
TMDS,
protection.
stormwater, TSS.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and fuels.
Impervious.
And I was thinking more of fuels and things like that, That's what I think of, what I worry about when they talk about higher pollutant
Fuels.
loads. Like for a gas station.
Yeah.
Is there an existing
Is it-
driveway?
No, it's a 2-track.
It's a,
It's a very,
So this is the driveway.
yeah.
It's grass, just.
yeah, if you wanted to pass that around.
So with the house only 14 feet or 10 feet moved out off the road, trying to pull in, if we can get parking under the street, it's gonna be a little tight to make the turn in and out on that right side there, if you could keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think I've been looking at things like this, like, so how would we fit 2 cars
that's
in there
interesting.
and out of each other?
Yeah.
Cars are, 12, just a standard car is 12 to 14 feet long.
Yep.
I think I read, So,
And we do plan to have all the water going out the front, so.
if you're interested, here's a floor plan that hasn't changed from last time.
That the water's clean.
Yeah, the water's clean, yeah.
Roof and stuff.
From the roof.
Right, but at least if you put it in the gutters or put it into a dry well, at least you're not worried about, erosion or anything.
You don't know what is a quiet street, people do come by to sit at the lake. quite a
Yes,
bit.
they do.
Are you on this,
Yeah.
on the street?
I'm not on the
Oh.
street, but it's
So
walking
it's not
distance.
as
I've walked
Okay.
my
as you
dog
might
by, and
think.
we like to look at frogs
to
and
read
yeah,
the
people. Yeah, like
newspaper.
random people come
Yes,
down there and
they
hang
do.
out.
Yeah.
Yes, they
I
do.
have noticed that.
So,
This
Or
guy
ride
has his lunch
bikes.
down there every day, I think, and reads the paper.
yes,
Yeah.
they come
There's a guy
quite
across
often.
the street that has one of those mini houses on wheels he was building.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
really?
I didn't see that. We just like to look at frogs and walk.
So I guess what I'm hearing is that if we file a notice of intent, you may be amenable to putting something larger in there if we can get it as close to the street as practical and, show that there's minimal impact. Probably still.
I'm not sure if you're hearing that.
That's what I'm interpreting.
We we still, I'm not sure if it hits the public interest.
So would you prefer to leave
For
it
the
there? I
waiver.
have plenty of pictures of the house if you want to look at what's there now.
So what else can we do for
think-
public interest?
Well, I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
'Cause I could think-
Is
yeah.
there something
Thank you.
that could benefit? Something could be done that could benefit
Yeah.
the
I know, no, I just know,
uh,
I actually always
the
thought the house
water
was cool.
edge is a potential. What's the edge look like?
But it's important to be in good repair.
Is there an
I
area that
get
we
that.
could potentially improve the edge of the water body?
Well, I think the only way you
To
can
make, we're
improve-
trying to make, we're
yeah.
trying to to get to the public interest has to be improvements beyond just
Yeah.
because the house is ugly and
Yeah, yeah.
it's gonna fall down. I mean,
Right.
I can make that argument with anything.
Well, there's a tree that's about to fall down.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to get public safety on that one. We have.
No.
But I think at the last meeting,
That
someone
doesn't do
mentioned
it.
how the whole entire lot is mowed right up to the edge. So this is a really distinct bank. You go there and it's probably a 6-inch drop down to the water and then a couple inches down to the bottom of the pond. And so that's all been mowed continuously. If there were, if you talk about restoring it by leaving a 5-foot undisturbed strip, save just a little spot for somebody to, maybe they can mow one 6-foot wide section so they can walk down there and look at the fish or something.
People
But,
congregate
yeah.
there too. People go fishing there. People don't
But
speak
probably,
English, and they hang around there.
you hear what I'm saying? If it's restoring it, really, can you just stop mowing it?
I think we would
5-foot
want that
strip.
regardless. But, no, I'm,
Yeah, the less the
trying to
mow. If someone
think
told me to stop
too.
mowing my house, I'd love it.
get notices. I mean, what?
So I mean, yeah, if you could bring it closer to the street, and I know what you mean about the driveway. It looks as if if you did move
That's
it,
like a hard. I
yeah,
could
you'd
see.
have to kind of round it off a little bit. It
Or
looks but-
re-angle the.
Yeah,
Or
so
put-
Re-angle the house,
I don't
move it
wanna
closer to
go
the road
any
and
closer
re-angle
to
the
water
house.
on the
We
right.
had that
That's-
last
that's
time. It was
the
going to
issue.
move a drive in, and we thought moving it away from the house.
yeah.
No, I
Before.
definitely see why, but to
Yeah.
like,
We might have
I
to
don't know
put a
if there's
turnaround
like some
in.
balance.
Put a little bit of a turnaround, make the driveway, which would be the driveway a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I mean, if you could rework it and come back, I think.
Well, the only time, so in order to come back, we're gonna have to get something from the ZBA saying that, we can't make you promises that the ZBA can't,
I
we can't
know.
write checks the
No.
ZBA can't cash, right?
Yeah,
So we have to go to
of course
them first, so I just would like some sort of,
So you're saying that you're gonna attempt to move the house further to the road?
yes, I like
Okay.
12 feet. We'll check, we'll see, we'll talk with some people and see if we can get the 10 feet.
Okay.
But it'd be nice to be able to, get a car completely off the road and then turn in versus, if you start shortening that driveway length, it makes that turn more difficult.
We still need something to overcome the burden of the public interest.
Right, or one of the other
We haven't-
terms
we
of
still-
the
we still haven't
waiver.
hit
Public
that yet.
health.
I mean, like planting some trees or something?
or the.
What are some other things that you do for
Yeah.
single-family homes? Because,
Well, we don't
We
typically
haven't.
permit these.
Yeah, we haven't.
yeah,
This situation is that we don't
It's not.
permit closer to 50 feet. So in order for us even to, that's why we're
But it
we're
is-
struggling with
Yeah,
this.
but it is
And-
existing.
It's
Right,
existing.
no, I'm
So
looking
we
at
don't wanna-
right. I'm looking
but-
at
It's a new
the
build.
But that's the problem. The new build is what kicks it into this much higher bar for us to be able to grant a waiver under our bylaw.
Right.
You understand the higher bar, obviously.
I do.
So,
So
And
yes,
that's
so that's what we're trying
That's
to.
what we're struggling to reach.
Right.
And I guess, I don't know, because I've sat on this side of the table more than I've sat on that side, so I kind of see it more slanted from this way,
Yep.
where it's
I've
existing
sat on your
house,
side of the table too.
Yeah, it's before the, in front of me?
Not in front of you,
I know,
no,
I'm
for
just-
cleaning
You don't
up
think it's in a
contaminated
public
sites
interest?
and
Yeah.
sitting in front of conservation
No.
commissions who are
That's not.
giving,
Yeah.
I get it, I
So what's the
really
problem?
truly do, I
That's
really
not-
truly do,
that-
but we
that-
need something
that has no
that
public interest
To hang your hat on.
benefits.
we really do, we need something we can stand
doesn't
on
benefit the
to
public
help
at all.
you meet
Yeah.
what you're trying to
It would
do
just fall- it would
and,
fall down and
help these folks with their
People
house. It's
all
not
the-
that we don't wanna
the
help
Yeah.
these
way
folks
it
with,
would be
it
in
really
there, so that's
truly,
not a-
that
doesn't-
couldn't be
if it-
farther
if
from
it
the
just-
truth.
if it
But
just sits
there's,
there and
it's a
rots
high
away,
bar.
which is
Right,
what would happen
so
to it.
So.
I guess where I get
Okay.
to is the fact that, if we could just go and
By
rebuild the
putting a
same
new
footprint.
house in there,
Yeah,
now we just
yes, you
have
could.
to-
Okay, good.
All of a sudden, that's.
Yes.
And what I
within
brought
the
before you
50
now
feet, we
Yeah.
have to look
is
at, what else
a
can
higher
I
bar.
do to this piece of property?
Because
Okay.
we are reducing the impervious area within 50, we're moving it
Benefit
outside, we're getting all this. So
the-
that's
the
not, that
public,
may not reach your
basically.
bar, so we just need that point to
It
get us
could be,
over the bar.
it could be.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
You could do
it's like
something along,
50
potentially along the
50
shoreline,
square
you could do
feet.
some.
Which I understand
Potentially maybe
the
do some
area you're working in,
plantings.
so
I
maybe
don't know
some
yet. I'm just trying to-
percentages would be helpful.
Yeah.
Brainstorm.
Given the area you have to
What's
work
that?
with.
If it's a new
But we still have to meet that
Um,
public
tax
interest.
more, and then that adds to the public coffers, is that?
No. there's
No,
nothing to
it's
do with
like,
that.
no, so for us, it's environmental quality. So what can you do at the site to improve the environmental quality?
I wanna
Under-
filter the water.
That would
Help.
You
I wanna figure out how
Yeah.
to get that water clean.
So what
Right.
else is it? I mean,
So-
let's talk about some ideas. I
Seriously.
mean, if you leave the buffer
Yeah.
zone, that's not touched. I mean, I know there's a lot of things, I mean, it's gonna be,
Yeah, I mean, that's
it's gonna be a
right.
lawn, it's gonna be a lawn,
Yeah.
It's a tough.
Give me
bushes.
an idea.
It's
Anyway.
tough, that's a tough
It's
site.
tough.
Plantings, maybe,
Trying to.
a bench.
A bench.
Because I'm not on the same
For
train.
the-
I'm not on the same train as you guys right now. Because I'm just not seeing what else can be done. As far as I'm not on
it's
Conservation
challenging.
Commission, so I don't know what you want. This land.
We don't
is-
typically
It's
want anything from
challenge.
places like this, it's just, we're trying to figure out a way we can.
I'm
we
trying.
can
Allow it.
Allow it to happen, so we don't,
I mean,
that's why we're
Give me
sitting here
something.
I
struggling.
mean, right now I'm trying to think of a good reason for you guys.
Put some pollinators along the water's edge.
is your septic system going to improve the water quality
Yes.
at the site?
Well,
That wouldn't
it's
take
much
much.
better. Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
yeah,
public
no, but it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't. Yeah.
Let's start a list.
See, that one was so obvious. It's like why
Yes,
sometimes-
but
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they got it redone 5 years
No,
ago.
it's a
I don't
single-
know.
it's a
So
single cesspool.
so okay.
Cesspool.
So that is, reconstruction of the
Fully
septic
compliant
is
system. Yeah.
is a benefit.
Okay.
Is an environmental benefit.
It's a big one.
I think
Yeah.
reducing, so the things I'm just thinking of, what we recently, there was a drastic improvement of stormwater quality coming off of a site that we recently, and it wasn't a home.
Yeah.
So it's so much harder to do on a small footprint, but there was, a drastic improvement in stormwater quality. I think there's like habitat improvements as far as like they were gonna do like bat boxes and specific plantings. I mean, again, you don't have a lot of space, but a bat box doesn't take a lot of
You got
space either.
trees with that boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might
Plant
face
plant things
itself.
along the edge of the pond.
Yeah.
where
Button
we-
bush or
yeah.
wetlands.
Would be where you're not
High bush
mowing
would
right
be-
down to the edge of the
Not
pond.
low bush, high bush.
Yeah.
I mean, those things would
Not
improve
using
water quality.
fertilizers.
Yeah.
I mean, the ponds already get issues.
Yeah.
That's
The
what
pond-
it is.
well, and we're working on it.
I was surprised when I
We're
went out
working
there and
on
we
it.
started
But
this
anything
in.
that can
We're
improve,
working on the
and
pond.
not anything that can improve and not lead to more
Yeah, the
of what
the
you see.
eutrophication, which the septic
It would
system
be, would be in
is
the would be in the
part
public
of that.
interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, okay.
improvements, what she just said about
Yeah.
runoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
I guess. Well, infiltrating. We're not taking. I mean,
Yeah.
even though the rainwater is defined as clean, it does carry pollen and things.
Every development that we have close to the pond, we should be looking at runoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
And,
nutrients.
And we're talking
create the
about
duckweed.
fertilizers.
Yeah.
Those are filled with you get
Yeah,
nitrogen.
fertilizers are bad.
Oh yeah. Well,
As far as that.
besides,
And then
what
the
is it like?
septic.
20% of it gets uptaken, right? And then the rest of it
It's-
runs off, right?
Yeah.
And,
And if you
so-
don't do it at the right time, yeah.
so
there's a lot
phosphorus,
to it.
no phosphorus soaps.
I think most soaps don't have phosphates anyways, but
I'm thinking,
I mean, we have stated. I think was it no fertilizers? Was it the?
I think that's usually part of our
This-
standard
Yeah.
orders of conditions. But again, with their existing site, and they already have an existing lawn, that is an improvement.
If
If
you go out
there's
and look at it, it's
Yeah.
not really a
That's good.
lawn. It's
Yeah.
kind of just, it almost looks like woodland growth.
yeah,
I mean, there's no real, there's crabgrass or something.
Yeah, but what's
Yeah.
what's your intent? I guess that's more. As
Well,
opposed to
my
what
Yeah,
it
if you want to
is,
put
I guess
like a
what's
big
your
green lawn.
intent?
I don't want
Yeah.
to do anything. I won't take a lawnmower to the property. It's, you know, nobody's cut it in I don't know how long, so if you go and look there, it's
Those
really
are
not
short.
unreasonable to walk in the yard and just.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to take a site visit, let me know.
I think that'd actually be very helpful to go and have a look.
Yeah, and try to.
Have we been on this site yet?
No.
Bring a chair, sit down and face the water.
It's the next spot.
It's awesome.
It's the next spot.
Do you guys want to set something up?
Well, no, I think that the next thing to do is, I think we have our orders. I mean,
There will be no chemical spread on the lawn.
I mean, I think it's feasible. We can, you know, it's hard for me to say no chemical spread on the lawn because that's a standard condition anyway. But I mean, I can put that in as an environmental. We know you're going to condition it, so that's right now you can't condition it.
Right.
But at that point you can. So
Right,
that's a
exactly.
okay.
That was
Okay.
kind of
So
my
I guess
point on
we're
that.
still, you know, I would just set the site
Yeah, but
visit.
you've
Yeah.
got to have a stable area, so at some point, you're gonna have to put some sort of fertilizer or organic stuff or something to create a stable base for some sort of vegetation, or you're gonna have
Well, maybe
potential water.
maybe just then we create a line out there.
Well, I'm just-
Yeah, I
so we
mean,
can-
you know.
You mean just for
need to
start or just to get the
whole-
stuff
Well,
going to
even,
start?
it still needs to be
Yeah.
fed periodically.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just something that you have to think about. It's not,
Yeah.
because it isn't gonna grow if you don't feed a
Yeah.
little bit. I think was it a pine or a hardwood forest around the house, or?
Yeah, it's well, I don't know, it's pines.
Yeah, it's
Really,
pines.
I don't
So
know
it's
what
gonna
kind.
be acidic.
It's acidic.
They're
Yeah.
really tall
Yeah,
pines.
it'll be acidic.
And is that gonna have to be written in that you wanna take some of the pines down so you don't crush the house?
Well, it's a thought, right? I mean, look how close they are to the house. There's some. I mean, these things are not small trees right in here. We did look at some of those that, you know, depending on where the house goes, those. You
But
know,
that should be,
There's some dead stuff in
that
there,
wants
so-
to be in your notice of
Yes,
intent.
it will. Yes.
Absolutely. Maybe replace them with something a little less dangerous.
Yeah.
Less acidic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're native. The white pine, if it's white
Yeah.
pines, they are native, and
No, I don't think
they
they're
host
white.
a lot of gnats.
What are they? What kind? I don't know.
And they
They're
shade-
the really tall ones and.
White pines are the super tall guys.
Oh, are they?
Really
Okay, because
straight, super
all right.
tall.
Oh, because I have the ones. I thought
There's
the white
some
ones were the ones
cedars
that fall
too.
in. Yeah.
We have some cedars.
So
that
what
are
I
tall.
would
The white pines
suggest,
are
we
tall.
set up a site visit. I
Yeah.
think you need to talk to some people, whether it be people who have worked in sites this close that are, what other things can you do?
Mm-hmm.
We've given you some ideas, but I'm sure
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch more that we haven't thought of.
Right.
And
Yeah, I
then-
would agree.
and
And
then-
being sorry, go ahead.
And then come back and let us know what your plan is,
You want to come back informally or come back formal?
formally. After we do a site visit.
Yeah, site visit would be helpful.
Okay. So if you guys want to set that up, then Amy can just let me know when it is.
Sure.
That way, and if you want, or
Yeah.
if you want to go by yourselves, it's fine too. But I'm on vacation for the next 2 weeks, so I might miss it anyway. What's that?
Okay.
We should
Are,
wait till you're back.
are you guys
Yeah.
okay for us to
Well-
stop by and do a site visit? We should coordinate. I guess Amy can give these guys a call, right?
Yeah.
We have your.
We don't need to be there, do we?
No.
Not necessarily, if you wanted.
No, but if you wanna
But we don't
have,
want to just like traipse along your
Yeah, there's no one that.
property without.
So
Are you just gonna be on the inside, or you need people on the inside?
Oh,
No, just outside. Yeah, no, just outside.
Thanks, Colin.
Yeah.
So, as far as coming back formally, we have to go to ZBA first, as I said. So even though, you know, you may not see us for a few weeks, you know, it's not because we don't love you, it's just because.
Bounce around.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to go to them first.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the,
No,
limiting,
it is.
they're the limiting factor, and then I'll apply to you and Board of Health at the same time. I think Board of Health's actually gonna be the
I
easiest.
would let the zoning board of appeals know about our setback and about our regulation.
Absolutely.
As far as the 50-foot, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that we're
We're already
trying to
pushing it
work
in.
with the applicant, but we're asking you to go back further.
Yeah.
That we have asked, it's
Right.
not your idea.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
And the conditions of the waiver.
I guess I would talk with the highway department too and see what their feelings are about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, is there a gas line or anything down that road?
I know, I was wondering that
No
too.
gas down
Oh,
there.
so-
No gas?
No,
That's a bummer.
water only.
So you'd have oil tank
It's
and
on the other
propane.
side of the street, actually.
What are you gonna
House is
use,
not hooked up to
what
it.
would you be using for fuel? Would you be considering a propane furnace rather than a
Yeah.
oil
Yeah,
tank?
propane.
Just,
Yeah. Is there an existing oil tank?
No, no.
Is that public interest?
That's, I'm trying to get.
Is it? Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking of other things if you don't have an oil tank.
It's not attached to water either, it's public water, so we would be attaching to the public.
So what's your water?
What's well.
Oh,
Which on that lot
So
must be
there's
awfully close to the
There's
septic.
a public interest of leaving water in leaving the water table.
water withdrawal.
Maybe.
What is existing now for water supply?
Well,
It's a well.
Dug or artesian?
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, it's dug. It's still a suction pipe and it's still a suction pump inside the house, so it's gotta be done. I mean, when they built the house, groundwater's only 8 feet down. I don't
Yeah.
think they're gonna be going much deeper than they have to for that, right? Would you say? In your experience?
Yeah, but I'm just thinking public interest, either hooking into the town water.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
from a
Yeah.
public, from a public health
Yes.
standpoint, getting your,
Yes.
it's times,
No,
there's a lot
that's
more
what the plan would be
there.
if we can get
Yeah.
by this.
Look into town water.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, you have to, because it's like too small to put a well in. So, all right.
All right.
Thanks for your time.
Yep.
Much more positive experience. I appreciate the thoughts.
Ever get gas on that street?
Get gas?
Gas.
Natural gas, it's up at the main street.
Oh,
It's
yes.
Does it come into the
Yeah,
apartment
it's-
complex?
I'm sure it does. It's right across. It's on King Street, right across, because they get stuck in traffic there all the
They just did
time.
those meetings, right, all in front of the church and everything. They just did
Yeah.
meetings this summer.
Yep.
But they also went down Harwood, so I would think if they went down Harwood and if they had
Yeah, they
planned
should
go
be able
down
to
Mill-
get it there, although if the apartments already have it,
Oh.
their
Oh, they might
reason,
get off
their
Main Street,
reason
yeah.
for, yeah, they probably get it off King Street. The reason,
Yeah.
their reason to go down Mill is
They don't know
not
if
so
they're
much.
going
Start
down.
bugging National Grid.
National Grid said they don't know if they're gonna be going down though.
Yeah.
Maybe they heard about you
That's
guys.
not
They don't want to
surprising.
come
Thank
across
you.
it.
Have a great night.
Have a good night.
Night.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.